Of this division series, the San Francisco Giants and the Atlanta Braves. Joe Buck and Tim McCarver with you. The Braves just took the field, led there by Kevin Millwood, who will make his second start of this series, pitching on 3 days rest. And here's a look at the San Francisco lineup put together by Dusty Baker. Kenny Lofton will lead off in center field. Rich Aurelia bats second at short. Jeff Kent hits third at second base. Barry Bonds cleans up. Plenty to talk about with Barry Bonds. Then Benito Santiago batting fifth. JT Snow hitting sixth. Reggie Sanders, David Bell, and Russ Ortiz, the 28-year-old right-hander, making the start in this Game 5 against this guy. I think he opened a lot of eyes with what he did in Game 2, the way he pitched against this San Francisco team.
And speaking of open eyes, he's the only guy who did not arrive at 5:30 this morning and go to bed at 6:15. The only guy on either team. Big game finally, and this obviously a big game. He was 2-5 on May 18th, and since that time, including his Game 2 victory over the Giants, he is 17-3 and is the best Braves pitcher to go here on the Atlanta team.
Major League Baseball postseason since '96. Starters on 3 days rest. They have not fared well. Kevin Millwood trying to buck the trend. Here's Kenny Lofton, and away we go in Game 5. Strike one. Mid-90s with a fastball from Millwood. You see that Lofton is doing exactly what he was brought here to do on the 28th of July from the White Sox. Get on base, start trouble, and set the table for the two big bats the Giants have. That won't do the trick. Chipper Jones, one out. The broadcast also available in Spanish by utilizing the SAP button on your television. Well, we had planned to talk about in our little on camera that the Atlanta Braves really haven't been tested all year. I mean, they won the National League East by 19 games over Montreal. And so really this is their first test of the season. And then you look at the San Francisco side, and all the focus, as it has been every postseason he's been involved in, is on Barry Bonds. And if you're going to the Hall of Fame, and if you put up the numbers that Barry Bonds has put up, and you have failed to help carry your team through a postseason series, the focus will be on you until you do it. And he has a chance here tonight.
In many ways, Barry Bonds mirrors the Atlanta Braves. The Atlanta Braves, even though this is their 11th consecutive year in the postseason, they have only won the World Series one time, 1995. And futility is too strong a word, but everybody familiar with Barry Bonds' poor performance in the postseason.
Two quick strikes on Rich Aurelia. Jeff Kent, who's been getting on base a lot in front of Barry Bonds, waiting on deck. The Braves going with only 3 starters in this best-of-5 series. Ball one.
Both managers agree. Bobby Cox and Dusty Baker agree that Kevin Millwood threw his best in Game 2. Bobby saying he's never thrown harder, and Dusty Baker saying all of his scouting reports were true. The guy's been one of the best pitchers in the National League over the last 2 months.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And to tell you the full story, even though we're going on and on about Kevin Millwood, the plan was for Maddox to go, but he was pushed back because of a blister on his pitching hand. He worked Game 3. Millwood worked Game 2, and because of that, here he is in a winner-take-all Game 5. 1 out, base is empty. Aurelia waits for a 2-2 pitch. 2 out.
A BB to strike out Aurelia. A letter-high fastball. You combine that with a slider and the off-speed stuff that has been improving for Millwood over the years, and you have a dandy pitcher, and that's what he is right now.
See the numbers for Kent in this series, and then at the bottom what he did during the regular season really took off when he moved into the number 3 spot in front of Bonds, and who wouldn't? There's no safer place in baseball than hitting in front of Barry Bonds. One of, if not the best player to put on a uniform, and you could argue that for days. But he is one of them, and he's on deck as Kent fouls strike one back into the seats. I mean, the year that Barry Bonds had this year, and it's been well said, well documented, and probably worn out by this point. But if the Giants move on and face the Cardinals in the NLCS, you can bet. You can bet that we'll be talking about it on Wednesday night in St. Louis. The year that Barry Bonds had this year is hard to believe. No balls, one strike, 2 out, nobody on. Kent. That's strike 2. To affiliates down the line, this break will be a local break after the promo. Coming out in different fashion after the presidential address. And this crowd, short of a sellout, wants to see a 1-2-3 first inning. One ball, 2 strikes. Millwood doesn't look too charged up for this game 5. He looks nice and calm, relaxed. He had an awkward start. You know better than anybody, pitchers are creatures of habit. And this game was delayed at the start. Nobody knew exactly when first pitch would be, but Millwood has come out, got Lofton, struck out Aurelia, and now his 1-2 pitch to Kent. Didn't get the corner, 2-2.
Last week we were in New York, and our opener before the Angels and the Yankees, we talked about how you have to slow it down. Tension on the field. And that's what it appears that Kevin Millwood has done tonight. He slowed things down. Everything but his pitches.
That's back toward us. You've seen a lot of baseball over the years and a lot of different teams and a lot of different makeups in clubhouses. And what Dusty Baker has done, managing this team, getting the wins, and then having to deal with the personalities of Jeff Kent and Barry Bonds individually, let alone together, makes him a highly sought after free agent manager, if you will, at the end of the season. 2-2 pitch. Off balance, fly ball center field. A good start for Millwood. Down go the Giants, 1-2-3. Back to Atlanta after a break from your local Fox station. Millwood has been hot in the second half. Russ Ortiz has been hot at least down the stretch. You go back over his last 7 starts, including the postseason, 7-0. That's what he did in game 1, winning here, going 7 innings, allowing 2 runs on 5 hits.
High ball power pitcher. Control is a problem. He walked 94. That's the 4th highest total in the major leagues. And he can hit. He's batting 9th tonight, but he adds to the offense.
Rafael Furcal takes a strike, and we're underway in the bottom of the first. This is game 5, best of 5, series even 2 apiece, and Furcal is 6 out of 19 in this series. How'd you like his one-handed bunt?
Oh, I loved it. Yesterday, he fashioned a one-handed drag bunt against Livan Hernandez, who threw him out. But it was a thing of beauty. Bobby Cox telling us that he practices bunting in all sorts of ways in batting practice.
That's backing out of play.
Here's what Joe was talking about yesterday at Pac Bell. A one-handed bunt fielded by Hernandez to throw him out.
Bobby Cox kind of laughed when he sent us out of his office.
Yeah,
all right, that's enough. And by the way, tell him tonight we work on one-handed bunts around here. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Franco and Sheffield coming up next. That keeps it 1-2. There's Julio. The San Francisco Giants have not won a postseason series since they defeated the Chicago Cubs in the '89 NLCS. It's before Barry Bonds was a San Francisco Giant, and San Francisco went on to lose to Oakland in the World Series. That's low in the count, 2-2.
Offensively, that series in 1989, we saw Will Clark have that terrific series for the Giants, and Mark Grace have a great series for the Chicago Cubs.
Here's where Dusty Baker and the Giants are trying to stop this trend. Go back to '62 as you look at the San Francisco Giants postseason history. Lost the division series most recently in 2000 to the Mets. A 2-2 to Furcal. That's how'd you like the atmosphere in Dusty's office? We had a
very calm, cool, both managers collected.
We had a candle. He was giving off a scent, kind of a cool little atmosphere. He had reggae music going on. Little Jimmy Cliff. Three-time manager of the year in the National League. The 2-2 and on the hands, and Furcal fought it off. You see the radar readings with Ortiz. That last pitch 93 miles per hour.
Yeah, Ortiz has that cut fastball. It's a natural cut fastball. A lot of guys have to artificially put pressure on that middle finger to make it cut inside. For Russ, it comes naturally.
Tom Glavine has had a rough series. He would like another chance this year, and if he gets it, it'll be against St. Louis in the NLCS. Another 2-2 pitch, and struck him out looking. Furcal couldn't pull the trigger, and Rafael Furcal the first out for Russ Ortiz.
After pulling the trigger on 5 straight pitches, fouling them off, he takes it for the first out of the ball game for the Giants.
I saw a little smile creep on your face as Santiago caught it, pulled it back up a little bit, and got the call from the home plate umpire, Jerry Lane.
Now, the job Benito Santiago has done this year is just remarkable for a 37-year-old catcher to have put up the offensive numbers. Bobby Cox saying he's the guy who makes the Giants what they are and why they're here.
Especially now.
Yeah.
Now that they've put Kent in front of Bonds, the protection for Bonds in the lineup is Santiago.
Right.
And regardless of age, there aren't many catchers in baseball that are hitting 280 during a long year, and Santiago does not take many games off. He was an all-star, first selection since 1992. Bob Brentley with a soft spot in his heart for the hard-working catcher Benito Santiago. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, nobody on. Into right field, Reggie Sanders back on the track, 2 out. Well, you know Furcal, you know Franco, but who's coming next? Here's the lineup for the Atlanta Braves. The top 2, then it's Sheffield, Chipper Jones, Andrew Jones, Javi Lopez the catcher, Vinny Castilla, Keith Lockhart, who homered in Game 3, and Kevin Millwood pitching and batting 9th. And you look at that graphic, in the 2 wins, the Braves have scored 17 runs, and their 2 losses only 8. And really, that's even misleading because they were shut down for the most part in Game 1. Sheffield homered in Game 1. The only RBI he had, but their production and their damage came late. And the game was pretty much out of reach. With 2 out, nobody on, Sheffield with that bat waving takes ball 1.
You know, that bat waving, those waggles, National League pitchers kid about Gary. Say, pitching between the waggles.
Well, you better have quick hands if you can pull this off.
You have got to be an extraordinarily strong hitter to hit the way Gary Sheffield does.
Gary Sheffield and Barry Bonds, very close friends, trained with each other over the offseason. And Sheffield has struggled, trying to set up Chipper Jones, who's on deck. A Gary chant from this crowd here in Atlanta. Bonds will lead off for San Francisco in the 2nd. What does Russ Ortiz want to give Mr. Sheffield with a 2 ball, no strike count?
It better be away.
Down and in, 3-0.
You can see Santiago moving away. Generally speaking, a rule of thumb for major league pitchers, this may sound simplistic, but if you're behind in the count, you throw hitters away. If you're ahead in the count, it's the best time to jam hitters or pitch them inside.
How about if it's 3-0 on Gary Sheffield in Game 5 of a division series, first inning, no score?
Don't try and jam him.
Ball 4 on straight and a 2-out walk. First base runner of the night. And that'll bring in Chipper Jones. 327 hitter during the regular season. Just did get to the 100 RBI plateau. 7 straight with 100 or more RBIs in a season.
One shy of the National League record. Mel Ott drove in 100 runs or more 8 straight seasons for the Giants. The New York Giants, of course.
Even though Sheffield's at first base, Chipper Jones is swinging it well. He's in scoring position over there as ball 1 is taken low and away. Andrew Jones on deck. The Giants had to win 35 of their last 51 to take the wild card and put themselves in a position to get to the NLCS. That's 6 straight that have missed from Russ Ortiz, and that'll bring Santiago out to the mound.
We talked about his wildness. Russ Ortiz is one of the few major league pitchers who can fall behind in the count and still get major league hitters out. He threw the fewest, from a percentage standpoint, first pitch strikes of any major league pitcher this year.
Yet for the year, won 14 games and had a decent ERA of 3.61. A lot of tired looks in these dugouts. These two teams have been banging heads for this entire series, and then the long overnight flight and the morning arrival here in Atlanta. 2-0 pitch. 3 balls, no strikes. Smoltz, who's now the closer for Atlanta. He won't wander down to the bullpen until he's got about, I'm giving him 2.5 more hours to sit there in the dugout.
All right.
A 3-0 to Chipper Jones. Strike. 3-1.
After 7 straight balls, a strike to Jones. The thing about Chipper Jones, he can hit that outside strike when he's behind in the count or ahead in the count. He doesn't necessarily look for something to pull. Great power the other way.
Dangerous pitch from Ortiz on 3-1. Santiago setting up outside, and Ortiz got it by him, full count.
Good fastball from Ortiz. That had some jump on the end of it. Little boom.
I like that. Runner at first, Sheffield. Snow plays behind him. And a 3-ball, 2-strike pitch to Chipper Jones. Back-to-back walks. Most walks allowed in the National League this season. Ortiz is on the list. There are some good pitchers and big winners on that list.
Yeah, the Giants have been seeing Russ jump in and out of trouble for the last 4 years. He gets the job done.
However, in a Game 5 situation where it doesn't take much to beat you.
That's right.
You're begging for trouble. 2 on, 2 out. And Andrew Jones waits. Hopped up into right. Reggie Sanders coming on, and Russ Ortiz into and out of trouble as Andrew Jones flies to Reggie Sanders. Barry Bonds first up for San Francisco in the second. Game 5 of this series, no score. Thought that Atlanta would be cooler than San Francisco.
Yeah.
Warm night last night as Bonds goes the opposite way and drops a base hit into left field. For Barry, his 4th hit of this series. He has 2 home runs against the Braves. And even though it's a leadoff single, if you're the Atlanta Braves, you breathe a sigh of relief. If you look at Barry Bonds and what he has done in his career when his team is playing their final playoff game of that season. He's gone 0 for 1, 1 for 4. Last 2 years, 0 for 4. You go back to 2000, that division series against the Mets. A couple strikeouts in that game as well. So a better start here as he's on looking at one pitch and singling the opposite way, and now it's Santiago. Question for the Giants all year is what happens after Bonds does his thing, and he's on at first with nobody out.
In some ways, that's an unfair graphic because Barry Bonds, his prestige, his ability over the last 2 years, monumentally different than it was prior to 2000.
To the left side, Castilla. That's a fair ball, long throw, out at first, and down to second is Bonds.
Sometimes patience is required of an infielder. Castilla, realizing who the runner is, knows he has time, takes his time. That ball came very, very close to hitting the bag. It would have been a fair ball and a break for the Giants, but not to be. Santiago, if you get a ball to the left side of the infield, it's best to look straight ahead and not to your left. Reason? It slows you down.
Runner at second, an RBI chance for Snow. Moved up in the order against the hard-throwing right-hander, which is what Dusty Baker wanted. Snow batting sixth and Sanders hitting seventh.
You never see guys trying to break the 100-meter race looking to their left or right.
No.
Look straight ahead.
The 0-1 pitch. Just off the inside corner, a ball and a strike. There's Sanders on deck. Barry Bonds battled hamstring trouble this season. Seems relatively healthy. Certainly with that big body, much bigger than it used to be. Doesn't run like he did in the early years of his career. Runner at second, one out, and the 1-1 pitch. On the inside corner, good pitch, 1-2.
And JT Snow with that home run against Millwood in game 2 to put the Giants on the board. It was a fastball away, but they're a good slider inside. That keeps hitters from diving out there.
Snow during the regular season drove home only 53. A chance to put San Francisco out in front in game 5, and Snow hops out of it. The Atlanta Braves have been in every postseason since 1991. Millwood the center of attention on 1-2, and Snow fouls it off to the right.
What JT Snow has done most recently over the last month, to help with Gene Klein's the hitting instructor, he's cut down on the slope of the shoulders. A lot of left-handers with the loop in their swings hit a lot of lazy fly balls the other way because that right or the left shoulder drops and the right shoulder goes up. Referred to as the slope. You got to cut down on your slope in order to hit balls on the line and not lazily in the air.
That's too high. 2 balls, 2 strikes. JT Snow. People out in the Bay Area know this. Across the country realize he used to be a switch hitter.
Right.
And just gave it up after not being effective really much at all batting right-handed. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That's backing out of play.
JT's father, of course, a terrific college football player. Jack Snow played for the Rams, went to Notre Dame, and is now a color commentator for the St. Louis Rams. Lives in St. Louis.
Always front and center right behind the plate when the Giants roll through Busch Stadium watching his kid play. Bonds at second, 1 out, 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2 out. Second strikeout for Millwood as he had Snow out in front.
Good breaking ball. What Millwood gives you so many looks. This is what JT Snow has cut down on, is the slope right there. Instead of having it like that, have it more even. You can see that slope, though, where the left shoulder drops down. You can see it pretty clearly right there. JT battling that all season long.
So far, Kevin Millwood has not been behind any hitters in the first 2 innings. And he deals with Reggie Sanders. 3 out of 15 in this divisional series against Atlanta pitching. Ball 1. We saw Sanders last year playing in the postseason with Arizona. Arizona taking on St. Louis in the division series this year, and St. Louis with a 3-game sweep. The only sweep in the first round this season. They are awaiting the winner of this game. Sanders took it high, didn't go after it. And so Millwood's behind on the count, 2-0.
It's what Millwood does to Reggie Sanders, and most National League pitchers who can do that. If they have the good fastball riding high, they try to pitch Sanders above the hands. He is an excellent low ball hitter, and he handles the breaking ball very well, too.
There's some life in this stadium tonight.
There is.
A little different atmosphere than we're used to in Atlanta, or at least in the divisional series, they can get laid back just expecting the Braves to end up in the league championship series. Millwood on 2-0. Sanders with a ground ball, base hit up the middle. That'll score Bonds, and San Francisco's on top 1-0. A 2-out base hit on a 2-0 pitch. Reggie Sanders picks a good time for his first RBI of this series.
See, sometimes you have to be patient with a guy. You have first base open. He missed twice with the fastballs and then went to the slider. Reggie Sanders, a very good breaking ball hitter, and he puts the Giants on the board. He has a completely different swing on the breaking ball. There's more disparity in his swing on a high fastball and a breaking ball than any other right-handed hitter in the National League. And the Braves gave in to him.
Now it's David Bell who's jammed and pops it foul, backing out of play for strike 1. So Bonds started it with a hit. Bonds, who didn't celebrate when the Giants wrapped up the wild card spot, just kind of sat out of the celebration, watched from a corner, and said, I'll celebrate when and if we win a World Series. Till then, we fall short. I'm not pouring anything on anybody's head.
Barry Bonds was the left fielder in 1992, 10 years ago this month, when Doug Drabek and John Smoltz started Game 7. The Pirates leading 2-0 in the 9th inning. A key error by Chico Leaned, the second baseman, and the Francisco Cabrera hit, the biggest hit in this city's history, baseball history.
And really, the play in left field has as much to do with the October analysis of Barry Bonds' play as anything. Not being able to throw out Sid Bream, who couldn't run at all,
right,
from second base, who scored the winning run.
Braves winning it 3-2.
Runner at first, 2 out, 1 ball, 1 strike on David Bell. Russ Ortiz now has a lead, and as Tim mentioned earlier, handles the bat extremely well. In fact, had a hit in Game 1 and hit 2 home runs during the regular season. He's on deck, so 9 chances for Dusty Baker's team tonight in their lineup to do something against Millwood, as Bell is late, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Here it is. Fans in Atlanta love to see this. Can't see enough of it. Stan Melinda on the mound, October 14th. 10 years ago, Barry Bonds in left field. Sid Bream limping home for the win.
And then poor Sid was under the pile and somehow was
he limped more after that.
Able to play in the World Series after that. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Bell. And just a reminder for Reggie Sanders. I'm still thinking about you, Reggie, but not much of a throw over by Millwood. Half a chance to run here. 18 stolen bases for Sanders during the regular season. 2 strikes on Bell. Wouldn't be a bad idea. Staying put. Bell took it just outside. 2-2.
I know all you Little League coaches may know this, but the reason that Reggie Sanders holds those gloves in his right hand is to keep his fists closed. A lot of the guys, when they get on first base, they'll grab 2 hands full of dirt to where when they slide, they don't splay their fingers and have a spike come down on them.
He obviously doesn't care about his left hand.
No, just his right hand. Yeah, you would think if he were really worried about that, he'd put 1 glove in each hand.
He's got 2. Doesn't really need to double up on the right side. His postseason career, 5 out of 6 trying to steal a base. Two balls, 2 strikes on Bell. And now a full count. Good jump by Sanders. He was ready to run on his toes and down to second. It's a wild pitch. And we'll see what the Braves want to do with David Bell.
You hear about hitters looking for breaking ball. Well, sometimes runners can also. And the minute it hits the dirt, go. Excellent base running by Sanders. David Bell, by the way, second on the Giants in 2-out RBIs. He had 30 of them this year, only 4 behind Barry Bonds. An excellent 8th place hitter.
First base is open. Russ Ortiz, who swings it well on deck. Will the Braves come after Bell? Into center field, should be handled. Andrew Jones, one of the best, puts it away, and that'll do it for San Francisco. But they do get the lead. A leadoff hit by Bonds, scored on this from Reggie Sanders. And after an inning and a half in Atlanta, 1-0 Giants. Not necessarily in that order. It was said about a team back in the 60s, Tim, that they flew all night. They got home at 6:30 in the morning. They were in the arms of their loved ones at 7:30 and home by 8:30. Now, I'm not saying that had anything to do with the Cardinals of the late 60s. But I'm just throwing that out there. Here's Javi Lopez leading off the bottom of the second, and that's ball 1.
But this is game 5. Come on.
Anyway, Lopez is 4 of 11 in this division series.
I thought you were going to segue into what the St. Louis Cardinals are doing tonight. I mean, they've got to be packed and ready to maybe go to Atlanta tomorrow.
Right, I would imagine. Maybe they're sitting at Lambert International Airport in the terminal watching on one of those airport TVs.
Hanging on our every word.
Yeah, I'm sure. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now the Cardinals will either host San Francisco on Wednesday night or head here, you all right over there, to Atlanta for Wednesday night.
What am I going to do?
And this is what they did in the divisional series against Arizona. Vina really getting it done at the top of the order. Morris won game 1, beating Randy Johnson. And Cairo filling in for the injured Rowland. Had a big night in the clincher. That's into center for Kenny Lofton, the former Brave. Remember that great year. Kenny Lofton was an Atlanta Brave. It's hard to even remember because he was in Cleveland before and after. He actually had a good year in '97. He had .333.
Clearly a better player with the Cleveland Indians than any other place. He came to the Giants on July 28th in the Chicago White Sox, from the Chicago White Sox ball club.
You were going to say American League player, weren't you? Clearly a better American League player.
Yeah, Cleveland Indians or American League player. I think they pitch Kenny differently in this league, and that was one of the reasons that he didn't succeed over here.
Watch out over there. Goodness. Bad boys scattering on that foul ball. Keith Lockhart never moved. He's on deck with 1 out here in the second. Vinny Castilla hit 12, drove home 61, and Bobby Cox told you before the game the defense that he's given this team at third base is worth having a third baseman hit 12 home runs and drive in 60.
Yeah, and Bobby even saying that Vinny will admit that he's had some horrible at-bats, perhaps the worst of his career for the first 3 months. He's better the last month, but his defense has been superb. And Bobby was saying that he didn't realize he was that good. And when Castilla came to third, that allowed the Braves to move Chipper Jones to left field.
With 1 out, nobody on, 1 ball, 1 strike. Castilla out in front of that pitch. We have seen, for the most part, Russ Ortiz as Livan Hernandez, the winner in Game 4, made that play. Go out of the strike zone, but when he's been out of the strike zone, it's been down. And he's ahead on the count here with Castilla, a ball and 2 strikes. With 1 out, to the right side for Kemp. Looping line drive, 2 down. Well, what did you decide? What is the most memorable moment in Major League Baseball history? Tune in to the pregame show prior to Game 4 of the World Series to see the winner of the MasterCard Presents Major League Baseball's Most Memorable Moment. Live on Fox at 8 Eastern on Wednesday, October 23rd.
On the remaining 30 most memorable moments, Henry Aaron's 715th home run off Al Downing in this town. Not this ballpark, but this town.
That ballpark is now a parking lot. Strike 1 from Ortiz to Keith Lockhart, who joined a long list of unlikely home run hitters against the Giants in their recent postseason history when he went deep in Game 3. Let's take you back to the other ballpark, April 8, 1974. 4th inning, Al Downing, and gone.
Tom House, the left-handed pitcher, with the catch in the Atlanta Braves bullpen that night.
One ball, 2 strikes. Where is that ball right now? I don't know. Is that a fair question? So much has been made. Even the Barry Bonds 73rd home run baseball is still
in court,
being debated in court.
Yep.
That ball, the one that set the new record, Aaron went on to hit 755. You don't ever hear anything about.
The Barry's 73rd home run ball.
I'm going to guess that Hank has it.
I don't know. Tom House was a pitching coach for the Texas Rangers, rather innovative pitching coach at that, but he caught the ball, but I don't know. I would imagine Hank has it. I know Barry doesn't have his 73rd. I know that.
No one does. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 out, nobody on. Lockhart strikes out, and that'll do it for the first 2. Do the math. 6:30, 7:30, 8:30. We go to the 3rd inning, 1-0, San Francisco. And by Radio Shack, official sponsor of Major League Baseball. It's the 3rd inning in Atlanta, and Russ Ortiz and the Giants have a 1-0 lead. Ortiz, Lofton, Aurelia, the 9 1-2 hitters for the Giants. Little back foot move, but Ortiz still putting the bat on the ball. Strike 1.
We talked about Russ being a good hitter, and he's certainly that. He hit .246 during the season. 17 hits and 2 home runs. But on that one, that fastball on the outside corner will make you do that. Slip and slide with the right foot.
Stay still and takes a strike. It's 0-2. That's 2 sound effects from you, Police Academy over there. Kenny Lofton flied out to left his first time up. Not going to go after that. 1 ball, 2 strikes. I'm too good a hitter, says Russ Ortiz, to go after that bad 0-2 breaking ball. 5-year career, 4 home runs and 30 RBIs, so he is a threat. Can't take him too lightly if you're Kevin Millwood. Now it's 2-2. Millwood, even though he's working on short rest, threw only 72 pitches in Game 2. 7-3 win. Ortiz at least is going to battle.
Yeah, the Giants have a very good pitching staff.
Dissect that for me, Johnny Miller.
Can't.
make me want to see him swing the bat again. Here's a 2-2. Chopper to the shortstop. Look at this arm. To it. Kyle did not show off on that throw. I would say it's probably a safe bet. Kyle's got the best arm among shortstops across baseball.
And Russ Ortiz has always been a good chipper.
Showing us some on his short game. And then you got for Kyle, just for a little guy. What a difference he makes on double plays. Now, he will give you a lot of errors, 27 errors during the regular season, but on those close plays at first, when he's receiving the ball on a double play, he can make a difference shooting it back over to first. Kenny Lofton now with 1 out, nobody on. 6 out of 17 in this series. Remember we talked about that atmosphere and the mood here at the ballpark? Yeah, it's changed a little bit.
Well, it changes when you're down 1-0. Not going to change for the Braves pitchers. However, in pitching to Kenny Lofton, they want him to loft the ball. No ground balls, fly balls, because he has a tough time with power to center and left.
There's a shot into right field. Lofton is going to at least think and now go to second as Sheffield kicks it in right. Might have tried it anyway, but it was certain to be successful getting down to second with Sheffield couldn't come up with it.
This ball just a laser beam to right field. Gary Sheffield over, bobbling it, and that assures Lofton standing up at second base. Giving himself a chance to take the extra base. And now with the right-handed hitter up there, third base is the best base to steal with 1 out. The reason for that is you get over there and you can score on something other than a base hit. Braves know that. Why Lockhart's close at second.
Aurelia flies one into right. That's easy for Sheffield. 2 out in the inning. When we talked in the first inning about being in a safe place in baseball, this is the definition of it. Here's Jeff Kent walking to the plate with first base open, with Barry Bonds on deck, and Kent is in an RBI situation here. He tied for 9th in the league with 108 and has had 6 straight 100 RBI seasons, and he should get plenty to hit.
37 home runs along with those 108 RBIs. Normally you'd think about walking a guy like Kent. That is so far from your mind right now.
You look at what he's done as a number 3 hitter this season, and that's in front of Bonds. A .333 average.
Peter McGowan, the owner of the San Francisco Giants, general partner.
Off the hands, got a good swing, 93 miles per hour, strike 1.
There are some owners that can't talk baseball with you. I'll guarantee you Peter McGowan loves to talk baseball. Gives strategy. Constantly in the broadcasting booths at Pac-Bell, wondering why this happened. He knows the game about as well as any owner in the game.
Runner at second, 2 out. Well, Mr. McGowan has some decisions to make in the offseason about the architect of this team, Brian Sabian, and his field manager, Dusty Baker. And if Dusty Baker heads into the open market, he may set market price for a manager. That's Joe Torre's salary included. On the outside corner, Kent didn't like the call, and the count 1-2. Been with the Giants for 10 years. As he listens to this crowd, used to play here in Atlanta. Get behind Kevin Millwood to try to get the Braves out of the third. On the outside corner, inning over. Ortiz, and the Giants on top 1-0. It'll be Millwood, then for Colin Franco for the Braves. Millwood is not as accomplished as Russ Ortiz is with a bat. Did hit a home run this season. 0 for 1 in his first effort in this divisional series. Slow roller, David Bell. He's one of the best in the league. 1 out.
When Kevin Millwood was pitching to Jeff Kent, we told you not a thought about walking him. He gets ahead of Kent with a fat fastball, misses with the breaking ball. And this was the key pitch, the slider up at the knees, and now back with the fastball. That is a nasty sequence for a right-handed pitcher to serve up to a right-handed hitter.
Now for Kyle, who struck out looking his first time with 1 out in the 3rd inning. 2 things. I don't know if I ever said if it was a double or a single E9 and the ball hit by Lofton. It was ruled a double. And Hank Aaron's home run ball and bat are in the Hall of Fame here at Turner Field. 1 ball, 1 strike with 1 out, nobody on in the 3rd.
Well, that's generating some lower body strength. Russ Ortiz, high fastball. With Ortiz and Millwood, you have to make him get the ball down, but particularly Ortiz, who's effective with that high fastball.
The 1-1, a bunt. Ortiz off the mound. Ortiz has got a good pitcher's body, and that he is thick.
Yeah,
below the waist. He can generate a lot of drive with those big legs.
That drop and drive, that's a breaking ball right there. We showed the one-handed drag bunt by Furcal earlier. That's the two-handed drag bunt.
I guess that's the difference between trying to bunt a fastball and a breaking ball. Fastball one-handed, breaking ball two-handed. Huh?
Well, I know a breaking ball's an easier pitch to bunt. Earlier, we showed you this one from yesterday. One hand. I don't think I've ever seen a drag bunt like that almost intentionally. At least it appeared to be that.
Did they do that in cricket?
Perhaps.
But 2 out, nobody on. Here's Franco. Off the end of the bat, easy into right. Reggie Sanders, and Russ Ortiz is doing his thing again. In only his 3rd career postseason start. For the 2nd time tonight, Bonds will lead off an inning. We go to the 4th, 1-0 Giants. That a player would have his 2 best seasons at the ages of 37 and 38. That's what's happened with Barry Bonds the last 2 years. He singled his first time up on the first pitch. The entire defense for the Atlanta Braves is shifted over to the right. Playing Bonds to pull. He went the other way his first time up. And he's jammed and fouls it back and out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike.
What few National League pitchers have been able to do, and that's get inside on Barry Bonds. They try to pitch him there, but he is so quick. Stays behind the ball better than anybody. Pitch identification. Identifying whether the pitch is a fastball. You don't have that much time. Ball's on top of you in a hurry. Identifying whether it's a strike or not. Nobody's better than Bonds.
Millwood's come after him. A ball and 2 strikes.
Slider in. Fastball away.
When you consider all the walks, yet the numbers that Bonds puts up. 198 walks during the season this year. He's only seeing 2 or 3 pitches a game typically to hit. And when he gets them, rarely does he miss. His walk profile, 4th on the all-time list. 198 to break his own record that he set last year. 68 intentional walks this year. A record that he broke by over 50%. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Bonds leading off. Now it's a full count. Santiago and JT Snow will follow. Major League record in on-base percentage, .582. To shatter the old record held by Ted Williams. hit .370, won the batting title, first Giant to do it since 1954. Into left center field's got a chance. Goodbye. Home run Bonds. Way out of here the opposite way, and it's 2-0 Giants.
Oh. A frightful blast.
Boy, it is amazing to think of a guy to hit the ball that far the opposite way.
Oh. With 2 out and nobody on in the bottom of the first, they were yelling Gary, Gary in this ballpark. 3,500 miles away, they're now hollering Barry, Barry. My goodness, did that ball get out of here in a hurry.
4th career postseason home run and 3rd of this series. And here he is in a decisive Game 5, taking your breath away with an opposite field home run.
You said Millwood was coming after him. That's what he does. Fastball right down the pipe. Oh. You can see Andrew Jones in center field. He took 3 steps and the ball was rattling around in the stands. Man.
That's why when you look at the numbers and you realize he's getting 2 or 3 pitches to hit during the course of a game all year, that's it.
Bat at bat. He got 1 pitch.
And he didn't miss. He has taken the air out of this stadium. He has quieted this crowd. The only people making noise in this ballpark on this swing are the guys in that dugout.
Gene Klein's the hitting instructor. Fourth postseason home run for Bonds.
All 4 are solo home runs. As Santiago grounds out to Furcal. 1 out here in the 4th inning.
Here's what Joe was talking about when he talked about few pitches to hit. This is a sequence, Millwood to Bonds. Fastball misses away. Now the slider ties him up. Fastball on the corner. Breaking ball high, breaking ball down. Now watch the fastball. 2-0 Giants. 1 pitch.
With 1 out, nobody on. I remember when Mark McGwire was going through his record year, Dave Parker was his hitting coach. And I said, what do you tell McGwire about the art of hitting? He says, I just remind him what time the game is. No balls, 1 strike. One of his most important coaches the last couple of years has been the guy standing out in right field for Atlanta, Gary Sheffield.
Right. He and Sheffield would work out together. Gary visited Barry for about a month working out last year.
That's too far inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning to go work out. Made each other breakfast and then went and worked out.
Yeah.
1 ball, 1 strike. With 1 out, Snow takes it inside. 2-1. Kevin Millwood has allowed 2 runs on 4 hits. Ortiz has walked 2 on the other side, but has not allowed a hit. Snow, 2-2. Where'd that pitch end up? 93 miles an hour, and Snow.
See that tilt again, the tilt of that back shoulder. When that back shoulder goes down, generally speaking, the only way you can hit it is to hit it to left field with no authority.
Snow waits for a 2-2 pitch. Ooh, just missed the inside corner, full count. Millwood's gotten that pitch at times tonight, didn't get it here.
Sometimes on that pitch, by putting your arms up, and obviously that's all you can do, it gives the home plate umpire a clearer shot at that pitch. Bobby Cox, Leo Mazzoni thought it was a strike.
Snow is jammed, pops it up. Third base side, foul territory, not a play. Did he have tilt on that one?
Don't know. That ball was nasty, though. And it didn't have enough hang time. That's a tough pitch right there. Tilt or no tilt. But didn't have enough hang time for Castilla or Lopez to get under it.
So it's still a full count. Reggie Sanders, who knocked home the first run with 2 out, back in the second, is on deck. To the right side. Leo Franco will take it himself. 2 out. You have to wonder what's going on in St. Louis, where the emotions are for the Cardinals. I know one thing. If the Cardinals are rooting for the Giants so that they have home field advantage, that would stand to reason. They would open the series on Wednesday night, but that's the other part of it. There are a lot of pitchers that are going, yeah, good.
Yeah,
great.
Yeah, right.
Can't wait to face Barry Bonds.
Even in McGuire's heyday, I don't think Mark had opposing managers and opposing pitchers as consumed about what to do with it as Barry Bonds has over the last couple of years.
I don't have the records in front of me, but I'm not sure that Mark McGuire ever hit 370.
Oldest player in the National League to lead the league in hitting. And only 403 at-bats. The reason for that, you have to have 502 plate appearances to be qualified as a league leader. So Barry had 198 walks. He was hit by a pitch 9 times and 403 at-bats. Well over 600.
With 2 out, Reggie Sanders trying to get a hold of a 93-mile-an-hour pitch. Strike 1. The Braves in the bottom of this 4th inning will have Sheffield, Chipper Jones, and Andrew Jones. The heart of the lineup as the Braves look for their first hit. No balls, 1 strike at the plate. Remember when Reggie Sanders first came up? Everybody thought he was going to be the next Eric Davis. Had a tough time putting the bat on the ball. A lot of strikeouts. They started to pile up. And Sanders' career started to move around. He's tried to cut down on those strikeouts. One guy he has really struggled with in his history is John Smoltz, the closer for Atlanta, who has just had his way with Reggie Sanders. So file that for a possible confrontation later on tonight.
Reggie's hands are a lot higher now than they were when he was younger because National League pitchers kept pounding him up.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
There are very few hitters who can hold their hands here and still handle a pitch here above the hands. That, of course, was a low fastball, but Eric Davis hit similarly when they both came up.
But not before Barry Bonds did his thing. Oh! 2-0 Giants. Sheffield leads it off and takes a strike over the inside corner, 93 miles an hour. Sheffield walked his first time, so did Jones, but Ortiz got away with it by getting Andrew Jones to fly to right. Braves look for their first hit. 1 ball, 1 strike. Sheffield only 1 out of 14 in this series. And the one hit was a let's make it respectable home run that he hit to close down the gap a little in game 1 of this series. That's it. Shatters his bat and pops it up. Kent. 1 away. October's magical matchups continue tomorrow with game 1 of the ALCS. And who would have thought that it would be a matchup between Mike Scioscia's Anaheim Angels and Ron Gardenhire's Minnesota Twins. 2 teams that are fun to watch. And that will happen tomorrow at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. You and I saw a lot of the Angels, and you said the same thing to Bobby Cox that I've been telling everybody. They hit everything that the Yankees threw up there. Cinderella series starting tomorrow night in Minnesota as Chipper Jones gets the first hit of the evening for Atlanta. Base hit to right. And then Minnesota, who would have given them a chance going back to Oakland, having to face Mark Mulder. And they played a terrific game. The bullpen made it a little tight in the 9th inning, but they held on to win it. Brad Radke turned in a tremendous start in game 5.
Athletics tried to come back but fell short, scoring 3 in the bottom of the 9th.
Another situation where Minnesota had 4 starters. Oakland wanted to go with 3. Radke was on full rest. Mulder was not. 1 on, 1 out in this game tonight in this series. Atlanta wanting to go with 3 starters. Lavin was on short rest, ineffective last night. Millwood on short rest tonight, and Russ Ortiz, who's leading 2-0 in the 4th inning on full rest. 1 on, 1 out. 0-2. You know, while we're talking about managers, a guy who is burdened by expectations but who should end up in Cooperstown for the job he's done here in Atlanta is sitting down in that Braves dugout, Bobby Cox.
Got that right. To me, he's the manager of the year in the National League this year.
1 on, 1 out. To the left side and foul. That gives us a chance to argue about manager of the year in the National League, because there's a whole lot of people in St. Louis and beyond that are looking at the job that Tony La Russa did this season, not only on field, not only because of the injuries, but because of every up and down that team went through during the course of the year. The Darryl Kyle death right at the head of the list. The job he did this year was remarkable. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 on, 1 out. Jones strikes out, 2 down. 3rd strikeout for Russ Ortiz.
And Dusty Baker, you'd get a lot of Giant fans talking about Dusty Baker. Dusty's already run 1 manager of the year 3 times. Bobby Cox once. A high fastball gets Jones.
Runner at first with 2 out now, and Javi Lopez. Hit 2 home runs in this series. With a disappointing season, .233 average, 11 home runs, 52 RBIs, signed through next year. 1 ball, no strikes. The Atlanta Braves are on the verge of changes. Both Tom Glavine and Greg Maddux will be free agents at the end of the year. That's why he's smiling. Where will Maddux end up? Where will Glavine end up? One of the 2 you would expect would stick around here in Atlanta. Lopez, hard hit, base hit, 2 on, 2 out. Tying runs are on for the Braves here in the 4th.
See Santiago sitting outside. We've talked about it before. When a catcher is sitting outside and moves his mitt to the left, that means the pitcher has missed over the fat part of the plate. That's usually a bad sign, and it was then. Watch Santiago move to the left, and that's the fatter part of the plate. Lopez with a rocket to left.
So now Vinny Castilla. Hit only .232 during the regular season. 6 out of 15 in this series. Tying runs on, and that's the third. Fair ball, inning over as David Bell gets the force out at third. 2 hits in the inning, 2 left. And now the Braves have left 4. Inning number 5 rolls in. Game 5. 2-0 San Francisco. For Kevin Millwood, David Bell, then the pitcher Ortiz, and Kenny Lofton. 2-0 Giants. RBIs by Reggie Sanders and Barry Bonds. 3rd home run of this series. You and I were talking about that home run during the break after he hit it. When you see a guy typically go the other way, even on balls hit that deep, it usually has a little tail to it or a little slice to it. That ball the opposite way off the bat of Bonds never moved.
It was as straight as any player could hit a ball the other way.
It's out of play.
Usually if a left-handed hitter hits the ball to right field, it'll hook into the stands. Generally speaking, the lower the home run, the more it hooks. And that was a low tracer to left center that had very little tail on it, like a kite in crashes.
1 ball, 1 strike on David Bell, who lined out to center his first time up. Stranded a runner. Bell is 3 out of 14 in this series with only 1 RBI. Breaking ball, strike 2. Dusty Baker talking about his pitching staff and the reason why he went with 4 starters in this series. He said we have 4 guys that are pretty much the same. Nobody really stands out among the 4 where you say, well, if we're in a do-or-die situation, we want this guy on the mound, and that's taking nothing away from the group they've got. You see Livan Hernandez, who's now 6-0 in his career in the postseason, winning last night. Ortiz is pitching well tonight. Jason Schmidt can throw it as hard as any starter in baseball. And Kurt Reeder is the left-hander of the group. And he can get on a roll where nobody can hit him. That's foul, and it's still 2-2. And by the way, Reeder, Tim, has always had success against the St. Louis Cardinals. Grew up in Hoyleton, Illinois as a Cardinal fan. And he may be headed to work on Wednesday night.
I think the thing about Kirk is he complements the 3 right-handers. As you said, the 3 right-handers are so similar. And Kirk, while effective, is not a hard thrower, but bullseye-like control.
Bell strikes out, and that's strikeout number 5. We're talking about Barry Bonds. Let's hear Bobby Cox assess the talents of Barry Bonds.
Barry's a cut above. There's no doubt in my mind. I was with him over in Japan a couple years, and that was enough for me to see on an everyday basis how good the guy really is. And, you know, he's proven that. He's probably the greatest player that's ever put on the uniform. If you grade them out with all their tools and what they've done, he's right there. So, and he's hitting better than he ever has in his life.
Ortiz takes the ball.
Pretty high praise right there. You get no argument. Most people around baseball are baseball fans.
Ortiz with 1 out and the base is empty here in the 5th inning. 1-1. I was intrigued and I guess I'll say impressed by Bobby Cox when we were just sitting in his office talking, and he was talking about Benito Santiago, and you mentioned earlier what he said about Santiago, that he's made this Giants team because of what he's done behind the plate and at the plate, batting now behind Barry Bonds. But he had a lot of passed balls his last year in Cincinnati. So what did Cox do? After the 19 passed balls, he went to the home plate area in Cincinnati, now called Synergy Field, and checked on it. Found grooves in that home plate area. Said it was as hard as a rock, and any catcher would struggle trying to block balls in the dirt. So he was not one who thought the skills, the catching skills of Santiago had diminished, even with the 19 mistakes behind the plate. As Ortiz becomes the 6th strikeout victim, Kevin Millwood. He's just a sharp guy who's very perceptive.
Yeah, the details to which Bobby goes are well chronicled. 6 strikeouts now for Millwood, who has 3 in a row and is pitching very, very well, but bested so far by Ortiz.
Kenny Lofton now doubled and was stranded. 1 for 2 and a good division series, 7 out of 18. That's Ortiz for you. Got pitching a 2-hit shutout in Game 5 of the division series, and he's shaking his head down there after striking out against Millwood. The Braves will have the bottom 2 in their lineup in the bottom of this 5th. Lockhart, then Millwood, then Furcal. 1 ball, 1 strike.
See Benny Castilla playing shallow at third base for the Braves. Normally a hitter doesn't bunt with 2 out and nobody on. Castilla thinking that Lofton perhaps would lay down a bunt because of his speed. If he gets on first, he can steal second.
Big swing by Lofton.
Now Castilla will move back. And Kenny not the type of hitter to have that big swing.
Crowd trying to crank it up. Lofton on 1 and 2. Takes strike 3. 4 consecutive strikeouts for Millwood. But Millwood needs some help halfway through Game 5. 2-0 Giants. Keith Lockhart will lead off in the bottom of the 5th game. The deciding game, 2-0 Giants, and Ortiz misses the outside corner. Millwood is finished for the night. Bobby Cox has to take his best pitcher out because of the score.
That's exactly right. It's a tough call. Bobby realizing that he only has 15 more outs with which to deal. Chris Hammond now warming. Be surprised to see Lockhart take one here.
And it's 3-0. Darren Bragg in the on-deck circle. Appears he'll bat for Millwood. Lockhart will take 1, if not 2 strikes. There's 1. Chased one there.
You know, Joe, you had the right idea because you're going to get the same pitch to hit 3-2. If it's a 1-run ball game, you go for it and try to hit the ball out of the ballpark. That ball's above the letters and would have been ball 4. It's enticing. But if you go up there and take 2, you're going to get the reason you take 2 is you'll get the same pitch to hit 3-2 that you had 3-1.
And now he strikes out on a pitch up and out of the strike zone.
5 out of 6 of those Ortiz fastballs were out of the strike zone, and that's why Lockhart clips his helmet. A 3-2 pitch you can understand because there are 2 strikes, but the 3-1 pitch was the thing that did Keith in that at bat.
So a very poor at bat by Keith Lockhart. And instead of having the leadoff man on, a pinch hitter and Bragg coming up in a 2-run game, 1 out, nobody on, and Darren Bragg batting in front of Furcal. And a check swing ground ball. David Bell. Wide throw, safe.
Snow did what he could. David Bell knew he had to rush the throw to the second base side, and Snow tries to come back and touch it with his glove. Darren Bragg, who as a pinch hitter, think about this, he's not loose, but he gets to first base just in time.
It's an error on Bell. His first of this series. He made 12 during the regular season. Third error by the Giants in this series. Furcal. Deep left center field. It'll hang up for Lofton. 2 out. First pitch swinging, and Furcal got under it. And now Franco will bat with a runner at first, 2 down.
the Giants try to do to Furcal what the Braves try to do to Lofton. Hit the ball in the air. He did for the second out here in the 5th.
You could see the reaction when the bat met the ball by Ortiz. I think he thought that ball was going to carry a little better than it did. The wind is blowing straight in from left center field. It may have knocked that ball down a bit. But Ortiz looked disappointed when Furcal made contact. Now it's a runner at first, 2 out. Franco, who has flied to right twice, waits.
When Julio Franco has a stance like that, the bat has to come so far that he can't pull the ball. The only ball he's going to pull is a ball down and in. You can see the bat right here. Watch how he almost points the bat toward the pitcher. There. Got so far to go. Such little time to do it that you almost have to hit the ball to right field. See, he's got to go this far to get out in front of a pitch to pull it. Tough to do when a guy's throwing 93 miles an hour.
And easy to see why Ortiz, when he did miss on that first pitch, missed inside. Now it's 2-0 with a big threat for the Braves waiting on deck, Gary Sheffield. Ortiz trying to protect a 2-0 fifth inning lead. Back inside. That caught a lot of the plate and missed up and away. 3-0.
You can see the body language from Ortiz looking in, trying to wish it over the plate, but it did appear to be high.
3-0. Franco will be taking on 3-0. Little different situation now that Julio's the tying run at the plate on a 3-1 count. Sure. Remember, Sheffield's waiting in the on-deck circle. Russ Ortiz trying to get around an error. Down the right field line, Reggie Sanders is out of room. And there's no doubt the wind pushed that one out of play. Ball carried a long way, 330 feet down the right field line. Just kept going.
Yeah, again, because of that stance, even though Julio Franco knows what's coming, a fastball, it's very difficult to get out in front and pull that ball. Once again, watch where he starts and watch where he makes contact. When you hit a ball right in there, you're not going to pull it. You're going to hit it the other way, and that's what Franco did.
Bragg will take off at first with 2 out. Tying run at the plate for Atlanta. Tying runs are on base with Sheffield coming up. In what looked like a blowout win for the Giants, it ended up with Sheffield at the plate representing the tying run in the 9th inning, rounding into that 6-4-3 double play against Rob Ned. So he had an opportunity in game 1. He has a big opportunity here in game 5. Lockhart wouldn't let Ortiz walk him. Franco did. 2 on, 2 out. Sheffield, ball 1.
This is why the trade was made. Gary Sheffield for Brian Jordan and Odalis Perez. Dave Righetti, the pitching coach, now wants to talk with Ortiz.
Game 1 of the ALCS tomorrow night, the Angels and Twins, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Righetti has said enough, and it's up to Ortiz for the Giants to get Sheffield, and Gary Sheffield with one swing of the bat could put the Braves in the lead here in the 5th. Ball, one strike.
Looks like a cut fastball or a slider. Ortiz does not normally throw a slider, very few times. That appeared to be a wrinkle to Sheffield there.
Tying runs are on the corner. Sheffield has a few words for Jerry Lane, the home plate umpire.
That's a key pitch right there, because instead of it being 2 balls and a strike, it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Something you alluded to earlier, how Santiago is giving Lane a lane in which to call that strike.
Teams complain all year, every year, about pitches like that the Braves get.
Yeah, that's right.
With Glavine and Maddox, and now a key one called against him. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 on, 2 out. 2-2. Away, and the runners will advance to second and third. And it's a full count on Sheffield.
That was a squirter that slid through the legs of Benito Santiago. Sitting outside, and he went after it the wrong way, and it hit the shin guard. Here's the situation where if you're going to challenge anybody, you challenge Sheffield to tie it instead of pitching around it with a guy on deck. That's the way I would do this.
With Chipper Jones waiting in the on-deck circle, it's a full count on Gary Sheffield. Hit could tie it. The outfield's so deep that anything away from the infield would likely tie it. 3-2. That'll load him up.
Looked like that slider. Ortiz got his first strike with that, and that one just missing. A little farther outside than I thought.
So now who stands in? Chipper Jones.
Braves love this situation.
5 out of 14 in this series. No home runs, 2 RBIs. Drove in 100 during the regular season. Former MVP. Ball 1. Tosic getting loose for the Giants in their bullpen. Ball 2.
Uh-oh time for Ortiz.
The David Bell error started this trouble. 2 walks in the inning and a 2-0 pitch. Good pitch on the outside corner, 2-1.
Chipper Jones. Bobby Cox doesn't see that happen that often.
Chance for the Braves to tie it or take the lead. Bases loaded, 2 out, 2-2 pitch. To the shortstop, bad hop, and what a play by Aurelia. You won't see a better play in a tighter spot. This thing took a terrible hop, and Aurelia somehow came up with it, got to the bag, and the Giants hang on to their lead. Ortiz appreciates the hands of Rich Aurelia.
If Rich Aurelia is not positioned properly, he doesn't have a chance to make this play. Or, I guess more fairly, the play would have been a lot tougher because he would have had to move to his left. But because he had the shoulder square, you can hear, that's a football analogy. They talk about having the shoulder square. Well, he had the ball, bad hop, nice play.
And here he is leading off, taking a ball from Chris Hammond, who's another good story for this Atlanta team. A record of 7-2 during the regular season. He's out of baseball for 2 years. And here he is. Look at the ERA, 0.95 in 63 games.
It's a wonderful story. Did not pitch in 99, 2000.
The Reds with the Marlins made this team out of spring training. He's fallen behind Aurelia 3-0. A 2-0 San Francisco lead, and that's on the outside corner. Why Hammond in this inning? Bonds is due up third. The lefty deals, and he hits the outside corner. It's a full count. Two home runs for Aurelia, including a big 3-run shot last night in Game 4. That's off the end of the bat, and a foul ball.
Sometimes, and it's an old expression in baseball, a hitter hits it like a pitcher throws it. The changeup, and that's how it was hit. A changeup down the first baseline. Off the end of the bat. Obvious reason for that is Aurelia was fooled on the pitch and cued it foul.
Oh for 2 tonight. Here's a guy who hit 37 home runs last year as a shortstop for the Giants. And a leadoff walk. First walk handed tonight to the San Francisco Giants. Good time for our in-game box score for San Francisco, sponsored by Chevy Trucks. Kenny Lofton has a double. Reggie Sanders has a 2-out RBI single back in the second. Barry Bonds with a solo home run. He hit the opposite way in the fourth. A walk to Aurelia. And now here's Kent. Kevin Millwood, the starter. Can't say anything about his stuff tonight except that it was outstanding. Everybody wondering how he would respond on short rest. Took the early flight here to Atlanta yesterday morning. He went 5, struck out 7. Allowed 2 runs on 4 hits and 1 of the runs on a home run by Bonds on a 3-2 pitch. tonight. 1 ball, 1 strike. And Jeff has been shaking his head at the home plate umpire all night. Good changeup, strike 2.
Very good changeup. Chris Hammond, one of the few pitchers who can back those pitches up one after another. That's how good his arm motion is. And that's why he's been so successful this year at changeup.
Guy in the Braves dugout who could do that, named Glavine. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Kent strikes out. Back-to-back changeups. 1 out in the inning.
The fastball gets Kent. Throws it just like the fastball. You could almost see those fingers going up there. Julio Franco playing way behind the runner. You almost play with like there's nobody on base right here, because if Aurelia steals the bag, he's not going to do that. Then you walk Bonds. If you're Franco, you can go back. You don't even need to be that close.
Strike 1 from Chris Hammond to Barry Bonds. Will Barry Bonds be a part of a team that wins a postseason series? That's what he and the Giants are trying to accomplish here tonight. Game 5. That's down into the right field corner, just foul by inches. Strike 2. Back in the 4th. That from Gene Klein's. And a laser line drive home run into left center field.
From Gene Klein's and Giant fans in San Francisco. More cries had this ball been fair, but it was hooked foul by about 7 to 8 inches.
Hammond wishing it foul. His wish came true. Bonds looking for his 3rd hit of the night. 1 ball, 2 strikes. We talked about what Barry Bonds has done in his team's final playoff game, season to season. So far, so good for Bonds. 2 for 2. Has scored both runs. 1 on, 1 out. Bonds got a piece to stay alive. All he was trying to do.
First breaking ball Hammond has thrown. He threw the changeup that Bonds hit down the right field line. You rarely see Barry Bonds look that bad on any pitch. He doesn't look that bad, and there are very, very few check swings that Bonds takes.
And as far as who gets the borderline pitch when Bonds is at the plate, more times than not, it's number 25 for the Giants. Like that. 2-2. Nobody manages the plate any better than Barry Bonds in today's game. How he reacts with umpires, the respect that he gets from pitchers and from the men in blue behind him. The 2-2. Line into center field. It will stay in the park, and Andrew Jones will coast over and get it. 2 out.
Great job in pitch selection by Javi Lopez and Chris Hammond. The high fastball, and Bonds is behind it. Varying the speeds. We talked about the changeup, the breaking ball, and then the high fastball gets him.
So Bonds retired for the first time tonight, and here is Benito Santiago, rounded out twice. Does have 5 hits in this series and hit 16 home runs during the regular season. Strike 1.
here's a guy on the Giants that can hit a changeup. He's probably the best right-handed off-speed hitter on the Giants. He has been like that since breaking in with San Diego back in 1987. Very good off-speed hitter.
Into left center field, well hit. Back at the track, it's Andrew Jones, 2 steps in front of the wall to end the inning. And again, another drive into the wind here at Turner Field. A leadoff walk. Hammond gets around it. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Braves bat down by 2. Get to the league championship series for the 10th time in the last 12 years. They're down 2-0, the 6th inning of Game 5 to the San Francisco Giants. Andrew Jones first up, ball 1. The late inning relief corps for Dusty Baker is very good. This is an important inning for Russ Ortiz. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Good sign for the Giants when Braves hitters are fouling the ball back the other way in predictable fastball counts. That's one of the gauges that you can tell your pitcher. You really, velocity is deceptive. Get the radar gun. It's how the hitters approach the pitcher. And a foul ball the other way is a good indication he's still throwing hard.
92 miles an hour in case you're wondering. 2 balls and a strike. Bullpen has been busy tonight. Last inning, good pitch on the inside corner, 2-2, and Watasic was loosening up. But the trio, at least the right-handed trio, of Felix Rodriguez, Tim Worrell, and Rob Nen, is about as good as it gets. Remlinger getting loose for Atlanta as Chipper Jones, a check swing foul ball. The Braves, the Giants, the Cardinals, the 3 teams left in the National League, had the lowest ERAs for their bullpenners this season. The 2-2. Full count. Ortiz has allowed only 2 singles, but he has walked 4. And he has to come after Andrew Jones here to start the 6th. Popped up right side, foul territory. Benito Santiago just out of his reach.
The 8th inning of Game 1, Santiago ended that 8th with a nice play into the stands. I think his depth was fine there, but his windage was a little off. Going to his left, he appears to be okay. Right here, reaching over to the left. That ball fooled him. You mentioned the wind earlier. The wind could have taken that ball. The flag still blowing in toward the right field line.
So another 3-2 pitch for Andrew Jones. And that'll get back and out of play. Jones, Lopez, and Castilla. If anybody gets on Lockhart, then the pitcher's spot. Showed you Remlinger's getting loose. With the bottom of the order due up for San Francisco in the top of the 7th. Another 93-mile-per-hour pitch, and it's still full. Up to 86 pitches. 4 walks, 4 strikeouts will add to that total. Get it up in a hurry. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Into left field, a base hit. Braves put their leadoff man on.
What a great at bat by Andrew Jones. Fouling off some tough fastballs. He finally gets one in the middle of the plate. Didn't foul at all. Hits it hard to center to lead off the 6th.
10-pitch at bat that ends on that base hit. Now Javi Lopez digs in, the tying run at the plate. And the Giants are on the phone to the bullpen. Javi pumping for his 3rd home run of this division series. Strike 1.
To tie it up right there.
Popped up behind the plate, and it's backing out of play. Javi Lopez went deep in game 1. And in game 2. Set up here and no balls, 2 strikes.
1 to left field, 1 to center field. Javi Lopez, one of the stronger hitting catchers in the major leagues.
Tying run at the plate, no balls, 2 strikes. And blocked by Santiago, who got down that time to keep it at the plate.
Looked like that slider, and a nice play by Santiago, smothering that ball. Good play.
For those of you just joining us, we are in the bottom of the 6th. Game 5. Winner moves on to play St. Louis in the NLCS. Giants lead 2-0. Tying run at the plate for Atlanta. 1-2 pitch. 1 away, and strikeout number 5 for Russ Ortiz.
Boy, did he ever make a pitch when he needed one. He got the break to end the 5th inning with the bases loaded. The bad hop play by Aurelia. I mean, he makes a shredder of the outside corner.
So now 1 on, 1 out for Vinny Castilla. If you are just joining us, focus on Barry Bonds, and tonight 2 out of 3 with a single and a run scored, and his 3rd home run of the series, an opposite field line drive in the 4th. He has scored both runs tonight. Blocked by Santiago. Ball 1 to Castilla. It was lined out. Bounced into a force out with 2 on and 2 out to end the 4th. And is 6 out of 16 in this series. Rodriguez and Aaron Fultz, righty and lefty, getting loose. One ball, 1 strike. Again, tomorrow is game 1 of the American League Championship Series. Kevin Appier is the scheduled starter. Joe Mays for Minnesota. And that'll be tomorrow night at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on Fox.
Ortiz getting away with that hanging breaking ball to Castilla, the one he just fouled back.
2 balls and a strike. Castilla, who put up some big years playing 3rd base for Don Baylor out in Colorado. There's that 2nd pitch. They got that reaction from Bobby Cox when Castilla didn't pound it. He pounds a base hit to center here, and the tying runs are on. 2 on with 1 out in the 6th.
So a hit by Jones up the middle, and now good hitting by Castilla. Good fastball right there. Kenny Lofton charging the ball to hold Jones to 2nd base.
So now here comes Dusty Baker. Keith Lockhart coming up. The decision, do you want to bring in Fultz, a left-hander? Probably see a right-handed pinch hitter from Bobby Cox. Or will it be Rodriguez? It'll be Aaron Fultz, the left-hander, taking over for Russ Ortiz, who gets into the 6th inning tonight. Gives his team a chance in Game 5. 2 on, 1 out. 2-0 Giants. Ortiz giving up 2 hits in the 6th inning to put 2 on with 1 out, and he gives way to the San Francisco bullpen. And here's a guy who was shipped out to AAA early in the season. Got it back together somewhat. Aaron Fultz pitching with 2 on and 1 out in a 2-run game in Game 5 of the division series.
Dusty Baker telling us before the game that he would bring in Fultz knowing that Bobby Cox will make a move, and that's what Cox has done, bringing up the right-hander, Mark DeRosa. The reason for that is the other left-hander, Scott Air, in the Giants bullpen is not as effective against right-handers as Fultz. That's why Fultz is in there.
That's outside, ball 1. Another pinch hitter, Marcus Giles, is in the on-deck circle. A hit for Hammond. Rodriguez in the bullpen, but Matt Franco waiting on that Atlanta bench. 2 on, 1 out. Into right field, slicing into foul territory. JT Snow, what an effort, but he can't make the play. Strike 1.
Full extension. What a play, or an attempted play by Snow.
Think his dad ever laid out for a pass like that for the Rams or Notre Dame?
Yeah.
No doubt. It's in his genes. He's got to lay out. And he just missed it.
6 Gold Gloves and a valiant effort by Snow.
Tying runs are on. They're at first and second. 1 out. Time called by Santiago at the plate. Pitch down and away, strike 2.
Fastball, tailing fastball. You can see Santiago motioning away. That's where he received it.
DeRosa, who tore tissue in his right ankle, was on the disabled list this season. And a key spot for Atlanta. 2 on, 1 out. Into center field. That's a hit. That makes it a 1-run game as DeRosa comes through in the pinch.
DeRosa looked bad on the 1-1 fastball, but he chooses a fastball, I think. Fastball in a good location, but DeRosa had already seen it there before. And the Braves are on the board.
Dusty Baker back to the mound. Aaron Fultz is gone. Felix Rodriguez coming in. 2 on, still only 1 out. He's having a tough time watching. What was once a 2-0 lead is now 2-1. 2 on, only 1 out. And another pinch hitter. The Braves have used Bragg, DeRosa. Giles was announced. Felix Rodriguez was called in from the bullpen. The numbers for Rodriguez, who in years past has been a tremendous setup man for Rob Nen. And he will deal with Matt Franco. Third pinch hitter of this inning. Franco had a big year, over 200 at bats, hit .317, platooning with Julio Franco.
Franco, a good contact hitter. He had 6 home runs this year, so he's got some clout. Rodriguez looking for the ground ball at somebody to get the Giants out of this inning.
Tying run at second, go-ahead run at first for Atlanta, 2-1. San Francisco on top in the 6th. Franco goes after the first pitch and pops it up. Kenny Lofton. 2 out. Bobby Cox is going for broke here in the 6th inning with those good pinch hitters. He's left with Blanco, Torrealba. There's 2 other catchers, and Wes Helms is probably his biggest weapon left on the bench.
The value of Blanco and Torrealba, defensive. So in effect, the only potent pinch hitter he has left, if this game remains 2-1 or a tie game in the later innings, is Wes Helms.
That was definitely something that I'm sure Bobby Cox thought about before making the move, because of the presence of Rob Nen and Tim Worrell in the bullpen for San Francisco, using his top left-handed pinch hitter. We're only in the 6th. Now it's for Cal. He could tie it with a hit. 1st and 2nd, 2 out. 97 miles per hour from Rodriguez. Cal is struck out, grounded out, flied out. One ball, one strike.
With the power of Rodriguez on deck, Julio Franco, the power of Rodriguez and the diminutive for Cal at the plate, one would think that he's going to hit the ball to left field. That's what the Giants outfield thinks. Barry Bonds way around toward the line in left, and Lofton shading toward left center. So they're giving for Cal the right field line. And you do that when a guy throws as hard as Rodriguez.
2 on, 2 out, 1 ball, 1 strike for Cal. 98 from Rodriguez, but it's ball 2, 2-1. With this alignment, with Bonds that close to the line, there's a lot of room in left field.
Bonds can afford to play that close to the line, because if Furcal hits it well, it's going to tail back to Bonds.
Rafael Furcal trying to tie it with a hit. Ball 3. Waiting on deck. Castilla and DeRosa, the runners. Center field, Lofton is there. And the inning is over. Hit on a line by Furcal, but through that, the Braves get only 1 on 3 hits, have left 9. 2-1 San Francisco after 6. Back after this from your local Fox station. Well, Felix Rodriguez made it interesting. A 3-1 pitch, and Rafael Furcal was not fooled at all.
A rocket to center field. We talked about the outfield alignment. Kenny Lofton, a few steps to his left. And 2 guys are very, very happy. A smiling Russ Ortiz and Rodriguez also. It was an interesting inning in that the Braves, in essence, traded 3 guys on the bench. Mark DeRosa, he's in your picture, driving in the only run. And also Marcus Giles and Matt Franco. The Giants had to give away 1 pitcher, Aaron Fultz. So 3 for 1. Braves hitters, 1 Giant pitcher.
Snow is jammed as Mike Remlinger, who is about to cash in somewhere. There aren't many left-handed setup guys that do what Remlinger can do. 7-3, 73 games and an ERA under 2. Left on base, the Giants 3, the Braves 9. We're in the 7th inning of Game 5, the decisive Game 5, with San Francisco on top 2-1.
Yeah, if you strand 9 guys and you score 4 or 5 runs in 6 innings, that's okay. If you strand 9 and you score 1, that's not all right.
A 1-ball, 1-strike pitch to Snow. Especially if the other team has 2.
Trying to simplify it as much as possible, though, you know, which means that there have been a ton of opportunities for the Braves tonight. And they have not, they've been 2-out opportunities. Not a chance to score cheap runs. A runner on at third and less than 2 outs.
Snow hits one deep into right. A bounce off the track and up against the wall. That'll be a leadoff double for JT Snow.
Yeah, that bounce off the fence was not a true bounce back to Gary Sheffield. It was hung up. This ball hit very well to right field. Remlinger falling behind had to come in with a fastball. So it hangs up. It hit the fence and then caromed up and hit the top of the fence and just sat there. And Snow is not a fast runner, but a chance to get to second base.
If the RBI is to come for the Giants in this 7th inning, Dusty Baker is hoping it comes with Sanders or Bell at the plate. Felix Rodriguez, his pitcher, is in the hole right now. Runner at second, nobody out. Sanders too late with that swing.
And that's why you don't bunt in this situation. The odds are against with David Bell on deck and Rodriguez in the hole. Giants will make a move. And they do have a chance to send up a pinch hitter. But you want an RBI guy up in this situation trying to drive the run home, not move him over.
No balls, 1 strike. Sanders, strike 2. And I make the point about Rodriguez because you know Dusty Baker, with the way Rodriguez has been throwing the ball lately, if he had his pick, would run Felix back out there for the bottom of this 7th inning.
Well, it might be a scenario to do that. If Sanders can drive the run in, and then Bell can get on, and then Rodriguez could bunt him over. That's a way to keep him in the game for another inning or so.
Remlinger would love to strike out. One ball, 2 strikes. Sanders a 2-out RBI single back in the 2nd to drive home Barry Bonds with the first run of the night. Bonds homered for the 2nd run of the night. And the Braves just got their first, driven in by the pinch hitter DeRosa, bottom of the 6th. Leadoff double by Snow, and Sanders went after a pitch that was up. It stays 1-2.
There are a lot of dry mouths out there. You can see Reggie Sanders trying to lick his lips. No moisture. Again.
Seventh inning in a 1-run game. The winner moves on to play St. Louis. If it's Atlanta, it's here on Wednesday night. If it's San Francisco, it's in St. Louis on Wednesday night. Sanders almost walked into it. 2-2.
Remember, that's where the Braves try to pitch Reggie Sanders. Up.
The big bats are coming up for the Braves in the bottom of this 7th. Bronco, Sheffield, Chipper Jones. A 2-2 delivery. Full count. Verlander stays alive. Been a pretty good at bat by Reggie Sanders after Remlinger jumped out in front with 2 strikes. With nobody out. A double followed by a walk. The San Francisco Giants were second in the National League with 198 home runs this season. They are in the divisional series because of the home run ball. Here's Dusty Baker talking about how his team plays it offensively.
We're a team that relies on the home run. I mean, you know, we can play small ball. I love small ball. But you got to play according to the personnel and according to the scoreboard. I mean, you know, yeah, we have guys that can sacrifice bunt. We have some guys that can hit and run. We have a few guys that can out and out steal a base. But we're not a real small ball, you know, type team.
Time for small ball for Dusty Baker as David Bell shows bunt, pulls back from ball 1. Not an easy bunting play for Bell. With J.T. Snow, the lead runner at second, and Julio Franco breathing down his neck with a pitch.
Yeah, sometimes what managers do, they see the reaction of the infield, and what Baker has and David Bell has. Castilla in, and you also have Julio Franco in. It's a good time to take the bunt off right here.
Showing it early. And Remlinger, who just issued a walk, falls behind 2-0.
David Bell had 6 sacrifices this season. So Bell in a very, very inviting offensive situation right here.
The 3rd-generation big leaguer digs his way back in. And even more of a possibility to take off the bunt. And now David Bell wants the third base coach, Sonny Jackson, to give him the signs again. Get a chance to swing the bat. Are the Braves as sure that the Giants are bunting? Still bunting, still out of the strike zone. It's 3-0.
Uncharacteristic wildness from Remlinger. You know Bell's going to take another one, and he may take it by squaring around. Some pitchers, when they see a hitter square around, they become too antsy.
Taking, and it's ball 4 to load the bases. A double, back-to-back walks. And the crowd here at Turner Field growing restless as the Braves' chances in this game 5 may dwindle if Remlinger can't start throwing strikes. Sean Dunston is going to come off the bench and bat for Felix Rodriguez, who ends up going 2/3 of an inning. And we'll have a pitching change. Bobby Cox is going out to take the ball from Remlinger. A double, 2-1. October's magical matchups continue tomorrow at 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 Pacific, with Game 1 of the ALCS. The Angels and the Twins, they begin their series right here on Fox. Then Wednesday, the NLCS will begin either here in Atlanta or in St. Louis. The winner of this game will play the Cardinals. And that'll begin on Wednesday night, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, on either Fox or Fox Sports Net. Check local listings for the game and channel in your area. Well, all Remlinger can do is hang his head after a double and 2 walks. And now Darren Holmes, another reclamation project for the Atlanta Braves bullpen, comes in with the bases loaded and nobody out.
We talked about how Chris Hammond laid out years 99 and 2000. Well, Darren Holmes laid out last year, but the Giants with a terrific chance right here to take advantage of bases loaded, no out, and a tough guy to double at the plate.
Sean Dunston was announced as the pinch hitter. He was pulled back when Holmes came in, and now Tom Goodwin is at the plate. Bases loaded, nobody out, and a strike from Darren Holmes.
And because of that, the Braves trail by a run. They know Goodwin is tough to double. They have the infield in with Worrell to be the pitcher in the bottom of the 7th.
Goodwin led the Giants with 7 pinch hits this season. We're up in Fresno, the 0-1 pitch. Just slapping at it. No balls, 2 strikes, and Holmes needs the strikeout. Kenny Lofton on deck. One ball, 2 strikes. Goodwin came up with the Dodgers in '91 with Kansas City. Got big money in Texas, Colorado, back to Los Angeles, and now a San Francisco Giant. Biggest at bat in his career, with the bases loaded, nobody out in the 7th. And he strikes out. Big strikeout for Darren Holmes.
I should say so. After 3 fastballs, a good curveball gets Goodwin. Now the infield will drop back into double play depth, but a guy equally hard to double is Kenny Lofton.
Lofton has a double tonight. 7 hits in this series. 1 RBI. Bases loaded, 1 out. Holmes trying to keep it. A 2-1 game in the 7th. Strike 1. Holmes has done himself a favor by coming out of the bullpen throwing strikes. Leo Mazzoni asking for more work down in that Atlanta pen. Lofton with a golden opportunity for the Giants. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bases loaded, 1 out. The 1-1 pitch. Lofton takes ball 2. These leadoff hitter types can be tough with the bases loaded. Guys who have a good batting eye. As Holmes is trying to make the perfect pitch, he's falling behind.
Yeah, Joe, one of the key guys on base right now is David Bell, because what David's thinking is a ground ball to one of the middle infielders. I've got to take him out. Forget Snow and Sanders, but it's David Bell who is the guy who's supposed to be ready for the takeout slide at second base.
Holmes hits the outside corner, 2-2.
Good fastball on the corner.
Holmes struck out Goodwin on a curveball. That is Darren's out pitch. Fastball misses, full count. John Smoltz is getting loose here in the 7th, along with Kevin Grabowski. But right now it's a battle between Holmes and Lofton. Lofton with a fly ball into center. Snow will tag. Come to the plate, score. Going over to third is Sanders, and it's 3-1 Giants. Kenny Lofton delivers a sac fly into center field, and the Giants get 1 run and have first and third, 2 out.
A lot of heat on Kenny Lofton after making very difficult pitches on him. Aaron Holmes comes back and hangs a breaking ball. Reggie Sanders alertly going to third base on the ball. J.T. Snow scoring easily. David Bell went halfway and then retreated to first.
The Giants had their 2-run lead back. A chance to extend it for Rich Aurelian. His biggest contribution tonight for the Giants has been with his glove. Bases loaded. Shot up the middle off the bat of Chipper Jones back in the 5th. Took a nasty hop, went to the bag, tapped it, and the inning was over. Trying to limit the damage. Done a good job so far as he gets strike 2 past Aurelia. Back in the 5th, right up the middle, bad hop, and Aurelia stayed with it. No balls, 2 strikes, first and third, 2 out. Good work by Darren Holmes to keep it a 1-run inning. Struck out Goodwin. Got Lofton on the sac fly and strikes out Aurelia. Time to stretch. It's game 5. 3-1 San Francisco with the heart of the Braves lineup coming to bat. By Old Navy's Painter Pants, the Handyman's Classic, and by Nissan and your Nissan dealer. Cool evening in Atlanta. What's at stake for the San Francisco Giants? You look across the big leagues, and it's been 47 years since their last championship. Go back to 1954. New York Giants of 1954. Willie Mays won the batting title that year. And now his godson, part of this Giants team, Barry Bonds, that has a 3-1 7th inning lead. Bonds has played his part tonight. Now we'll see just how good this San Francisco bullpen is as Tim Worrell becomes the 4th pitcher of the night for the Giants.
That 1954 season, the Cleveland Indians won 111 games that year. The Yankees won 103, finished 8 games behind Cleveland, and then Cleveland lost 4 in a row to the New York Giants. Tim Worrell has been the setup man. When the season opened, Rodriguez was the setup man, and Worrell pitched himself into a more important position than Dusty Baker's staff.
Those 3 players due up for the Braves, their career against Tim Worrell, who early in his career was known as Todd Worrell's younger brother, now known as one of the best setup men in the National League. October's magical matchups continue this week on Fox NFL Sunday, beginning with America's #1 pregame show. And Terry Glenn returns to New England. It's the Patriots and the Green Bay Packers. The Panthers take on the Cowboys. Falcons and the Giants or other regional action. Coverage begins at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Those are the matchups this Sunday on Fox. Bronco, Sheffield, and Chipper Jones against Tim Worrell. Three to 1 Giants, bottom of the 7th. It would be nice for Atlanta to get their leadoff man on with Sheffield and Chipper Jones coming up. And that's too high for ball 1. Julio tonight 0 for 2 with a walk. quickly hit to the right side. Worrell makes the play. Didn't panic after knocking it down. 1 out.
Again, he knew who was running, and he knew his own athletic ability. Some pitchers would be wise to let balls like that go, but they're not exactly sure where the middle infielder might be. That's why they try to make the play. A lot of times you'll see that ball roll by a pitcher and misdirect, and a guy get an infield hit as a result. Tim Worrell pounced on it, got the first out.
Here's Sheffield now with 1 out. Ball 1. John Smoltz getting ready, it appears, to come in and work in the 8th. Worrell, who was a part of Game 1, a victory for San Francisco here in Atlanta, misses with ball 2. Dusty Baker has used Aaron Foltz, Felix Rodriguez, Tim Worrell, and before the end of the night, Rob Nen will be out there for the Giants. 2-0 pitch. 3-0 with Chipper Jones on deck.
The odds go up that Gary Sheffield's going to get on base at this at bat. Reason for that, Worrell has to throw a strike. Sheffield knows what's coming. When Sheffield knows what's coming, his chances of putting the good part of the bat on the ball much better than most hitters.
Was only hit in this series a home run
against Tim Worrell.
The 3-1 pitch. And Sheffield doing what Lockhart didn't do earlier and taking a full count.
That was a key at bat in this ball game. To count 3-0 to Keith Lockhart. He took a pitch and then swung at the 3-1 pitch and the 3-2 pitch out of the strike zone.
That inning ended with the bases loaded and that play up the middle by Aurelia. Three-2 pitch. Sheffield takes a 1-out walk. 1 on, 1 out. Tying run coming to the plate. Chipper Jones walks in. Our game summary is brought to you by Nissan. We're in the bottom of the 7th. Barry Bonds hit his 3rd home run of this series back in the 4th. Russ Ortiz, a solid start on full rest. The Atlanta Braves have advanced to the LCS. 9 of the last 11 postseasons, trying to do it for the 10th time. The Giants trying to win their first playoff series since 1989. Chipper Jones, strike 1. Jones, no home runs in this series, 1 hit tonight. 5 out of 15. The 26 during the regular season. JT Snow out at second, safe at first.
There are a few first basemen who are not fast but are quick like JT Snow. His first 2-3 steps toward the middle of the infield, very quick. Quick hands, quick feet, 1 out.
Well, you're right. Those first few steps gave him a chance to get to that ball. A lot of first basemen would have been watching that roll into right.
It's always amazed me, Joe. You can see Chipper Jones going down the line hard to prevent the double play. That'll break the tension.
Yeah.
It's always amazed me how a guy can blow that big a bubble and have that quick a feet. I was going to say that.
Here's Andrew Jones now. Jones represents the tying run at the plate. 1 on, 2 out. Jones is single tonight. He also has not gone deep in this series. Trying to tie it, strike one.
I was going to talk about Brooks Robinson, not a fast runner, and his first 2 steps, not JT Snow. And here it is right here.
No balls, 1 strike on Jones. Andrew Jones during the regular season was 9th in the National League with 35 home runs. You can tie it with a long ball. Wow. Is he trying to launch? Strike 2.
He was on that one. I mean, his eyes lit up. Again, Santiago sitting outside, and that slider, the most dangerous pitch, in my view, for a long ball. That one backed up right in that sweet zone for Jones. He fouled it back.
Trying to figure out Tim Worrell. Worrell trying to pitch around a 1-out walk. Wouldn't go after it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. So Smoltz is getting ready for the Braves in their bullpen. You have to believe that at any point in the 8th inning, Rob Nen could get ready for the Giants in their bullpen. The 2-2. Ground ball, base hit. Tying runs are on as Chipper Jones will go to third. First and third, 2 out. On Andrew Jones' second hit of the night.
Bobby Cox telling us before the game that Andrew Jones is at his best doing that. Get the ball the other way. Especially with 2 strikes, shorten your swing. Jones moving to third easily. Pitch was away, and he went away.
So now Righetti out to talk to Tim Worrell, with Javi Lopez digging in at the plate to go-ahead run. Well, what did you decide? What's the most memorable moment in Major League Baseball history? Tune in to the pregame show prior to Game 4 of the World Series to see the winner of the MasterCard Presents Major League Baseball's most memorable moment. Live on Fox, 8 Eastern on Wednesday, October 3rd before Game 4. Javi Lopez is the go-ahead run at the plate. Strike 1.
That slider again. When that slider flattens out, it can go a long, long way.
Lopez would like to have that pitch back.
Yes, he would.
Went after a worse pitch, and now Lopez in the hole 0-2.
Yeah, that was nasty from Worrell. You can see Santiago sitting outside, and Worrell's right there. You make fewer mistakes with a fastball than you do with that slider.
Tying runs are on. 2 out, 7th inning. And Lopez just got a piece to stay alive.
Looked like a check swing. That was a very good slider there. That's the thing. 0-2, if you miss, if you're a pitcher, you miss away.
Runners on at the corners with 2 out. Another 0-2. And Worrell is staying away. Ball 1. The Giants in the 8th inning will have Kent, Bonds, and Santiago. Worrell steps off. Strikes out Lopez, and the Braves now have left 11 scored only 1. And after 7 in Game 5, trailed by 2. As Henry Blanco takes over behind the plate. Very good defensive catcher for Atlanta. And John Smoltz is on the mound trying to keep it a 2-run game. 3-1 San Francisco, 8th inning. A National League record 55 saves for John Smoltz. You've got Kent, then Bonds, then Santiago. Kent hitless tonight. That bring you back? Hey, that'll wake you up.
That'll rattle your chops.
97 miles per hour and a foul ball. Straight back to the screen. The Braves have won the last 50 games in which Smoltz has appeared.
That's a remarkable statistic.
That's how you end up saving a record 55 games. Record for the National League. Bobby Thigpen has the Major League record.
He did it for the White Sox in 1990. Barry Bonds on deck. He homered against Smoltz in Game 2. That game was out of reach, however, for the Giants. Smoltz even said in the paper that he was just toying with Barry, seeing how far he could hit it. Yeah, no way you're going to toy with him tonight.
Bonds 2 hits, a home run. Kent 2 home runs against Smoltz. Ball 2, 2-2. While Bonds has hit 9 home runs against John Smoltz. A 2-2 pitch to Kent leading off. It's low, full count.
Great at bat by Kent. 0-2, taking some nasty sliders. John Smoltz throws a type of slider that rarely hangs.
Little 3-2 heat.
Well, if Kent gets on, that forces Smoltz to pitch to Bonds.
Right down the middle, 98 miles per hour, 1 out.
Heat it was to get Kent.
Tailing right back over the heart of the plate. That ball started well outside. Jumped back to surprise Jeff Kent. That's 11 strikeouts tonight for Atlanta pitching against Giant hitting. Here is a Giant hitter, Barry Bonds. A home run tonight. Takes ball 1.
John Smoltz pitched 2 innings 4 times this year. 3 saves, 1 no decision.
2-0 on Bonds.
He has been a money pitcher for these Braves since being traded as a 19-year-old from the Detroit Tigers in 1987 for Doyle Alexander.
Two balls and a strike. And Bonds has yet to see a fastball to hit. That big elbow protector. The right arm of Bonds as he takes ball 3. Not much for Barry Bonds. He has seen this all year long. Is Smoltz, who's allowed 9 Barry Bonds home runs in his career, going to challenge him on 3-1?
I don't think so.
99 miles per hour. It's a full count.
Well, he threw 4 sliders that missed. Now a 3-1 heater right down the pipe.
This could be a lift for Atlanta.
Psychologically,
Bonds walks. Well, the Giants, Bonds and Dusty Baker have been seeing that all year long. They saw a lot of it last year. No matter what the situation, from time to time, the opposing pitcher does not give in to Barry Bonds.
There were times when we saw nobody out and they walked him, or 2 outs, runners on first and second to load the bases. I mean, it puts the opposing manager in a position to do some unorthodox things that he could probably get burned for and become very, very noticeable in the playoffs that don't become as noticeable, you know, during the championship season.
when the Montreal Expos came to Pac Bell Park earlier this year, the only time they played there, Frank Robinson, the manager of the Expos, walked Barry Bonds first and second, 1 out, and set up a sacrifice fly for Benito Santiago. That's when the Expos were trailing by 4 runs in the 6th inning. Weird.
Well, will the Giant season come to an end here, or will it be Tony La Russa getting the questions in 2 days about how you're going to pitch to Barry Bonds? Are you going to pitch to Barry Bonds? Will it be Dave Duncan trying to help his pitching staff figure out a way to maneuver through the Giant lineup without Bonds crushing you? He's running. Throw down by Blanco. Got it.
Right on the money. Right there. Good job by Keith Lockhart. A lot of guys take that ball before second base and bring it back. You can see Barry Bonds saying, what was that pitch? Beg your pardon, not Lockhart, Mark DeRosa.
Now ball 1 to Santiago, 1-2.
That was a slider on which Barry ran, and a hanging slider. A lot of times where the pitch is for a catcher to throw determines whether he's going to throw a guy out or not. Nice play by Blanco.
Bonds did steal 9 bases, caught only twice during the regular season. A 1-2 to Santiago. 2-2. On deck is Snow, who started trouble last inning with a leadoff double. Santiago just does stay alive. Barry Bonds, before this season, signed a 5-year, $90 million contract. Played this season at the age of 38. Had one of the best seasons in the history of Major League Baseball. Santiago swings and misses, and now we'll head to first. Long throw by Blanco. What a throw!
My gosh. I didn't think they had a chance.
Blanco off balance, couldn't step into the throw, and still gets Santiago. How far he had to throw that ball. And the top of the 8th inning is history. Blanco shows off that arm twice. Still a 2-run game. As we go to the bottom of the 8th, the Giants are going to ask for 2 big innings out of Tim Worrell. Castilla, DeRosa, and then Blanco coming up for Atlanta here in the 8th.
San Francisco and New York vying for the Summer Olympics in the year 2012. That will be announced in November as Rob Nin is warming. Giants looking for Olympic feats out of their bullpen to record 6 outs.
Castilla First pitch swinging, strike one. Just so you know, Rob Nen had 8 saves of 4 or more outs. So he is no stranger to entering in the 8th inning. Vinny Castilla, a base hit to help the Braves score their only run back in the 6th. Driven in by DeRosa, who's on deck. 1 ball, 1 strike. Talk about a save coming really before the 9th inning. Tim Worrell worked his way through the 7th against the heart of the order for Atlanta, allowing a walk and a hit, but getting out of it. Castilla way out in front, strike 2.
Talked about Bobby Cox using 3 pinch hitters in 2 spots in the 6th inning after using 1 in the 5th inning.
Castilla with a weak swing and a miss, 1 out.
Not a good at bat by Vinny Castilla.
Mike Scioscia, Ron Gardenhire will guide their teams into the ALCS beginning tomorrow night at 8 Eastern, right here on Fox. The Anaheim Angels have never been to the World Series. The Twins with 2 titles. And it is a Cinderella story for both participants in the ALCS.
Last time the Twins were in the World Series against these Atlanta Braves, 1991. The starter of Game 7, John Smoltz, against Jack Morris in one of the great World Series performances ever. Jack Morris pitching 10 innings, and the Twins winning 1-0. And your dad with one of the great calls ever when Kirby Puckett hit a 3-0 pitch out of the ballpark in Game 6. Jack saw the ball disappear and said, "We'll see you tomorrow night."
Here's the 1-1. DeRosa into left center field, going to get it. Bonds. He can still move. And with 2 out, nobody on, after this play by Bonds in left center field, Henry Blanco will be the hitter.
You can imagine what Mark DeRosa is thinking. Hit a ball that hard in the gap. That ball's got to fall, but it didn't. And you're right, Bonds can still move.
So now, because of that 6th inning action, Bobby Cox is left with a bench of Torey Alba and Wes Helms, having to use Blanco when he brought Smoltz into the game in the 8th. And should the Braves get a rally going even in the 9th, theoretically Smoltz's spot in the number 6 position could come up. There are only 2 hitters left on the bench. Wes Helms is by far the bigger threat of the 2. 2 balls, no strikes on Blanco. The former Milwaukee Brewer, who was brought here to catch Greg Maddux, among other things. Not known for what he does with a bat. Takes a strike, 2-1. John Schuerholz watching as Blanco, who had 204 during the regular season, tries to extend this 8th inning. That's out of play, 2-2. These would be 2 enormous innings turned in by Tim Worrell tonight if he can get through this 8th inning.
One thing to keep in mind, I mean, even if a guy like Blanco were to walk here and Furcal makes the last out, the Braves just trying to get Chipper Jones up there. Smoltz can hold him in the 9th inning. If Chipper Jones hits, he would represent the tying run. Maybe.
Matt Franco watching. He's already been used. 2-2 pitch. Still 2-2, and Blanco spoiled it. Tim Worrell in the 9th inning for San Francisco. Bottom part of the order, Snow, Sanders, and Bell. Anybody gets on. A pinch hitter for Tim Worrell as he tries to set up Rob Nen. And really from now on, any danger, if Worrell gets into any trouble, Rob Nen would come in and try to finish the 8th.
Yeah, that's right. John Smoltz, the ace of the Braves, starting the 8th. Nen would be in here. Blanco gets on.
2 big innings by Tim Worrell. He goes through a scoreless 7th, a 1-2-3-8. Smoltz will head back to work as we go to the 9th. 3-1 San Francisco. At Verizon Wireless, we never stop working for you. By Subway, fresh made sandwiches on fresh baked bread. Subway, eat fresh. And by Hyundai. Every Hyundai is backed by America's best warranty, and it's from Hyundai. We're in the 9th inning of Game 5. The winner moves on to play St. Louis in the 2002 National League Championship Series, and it's Smoltz against Snow, and JT dumps one into center for his 2nd hit tonight. Started off the 7th with a double, and he's on to begin the 9th against John Smoltz. He's trying to keep it tight.
JT Snow has had a very good second half of the game. Not only is he 2 for 2 after going 0 for 2 his first 2 times up, but he made that terrific play on the ball hit by Chipper Jones to force Gary Sheffield at second base. Key play in this game.
Now we'll see how the Giants want to play it. Sanders looks down at his third base coach, Sonny Jackson. You've got David Bell, the number 8 hitter, on deck, but as opposed to the 7th inning, this is more clear cut. After Bell, you get a pinch hitter. So the bunt and a strike over the outside corner.
That's a good call, Joe, because I didn't think Sanders would be bunting. I think your percentages are not with Sanders bunting. Sanders is seeing the ball well tonight. He has an RBI single, and he's walked a very, very good at bat in the 7th inning.
Let me tell you why he's bunting.
Okay.
That's foul. Strike 2.
I would imagine it has something to do with his performance against John Smoltz.
Try on 6 for 46 with 22 strikeouts.
Oh, makes you shudder.
That's why he was bunting on the first 2 pitches.
I see.
Now, all bets are off. He's in line for strikeout number 23.
Well, Smoltz can do that to right-handed batters. I mean, just turn them inside out.
What does he do with 2 strikes? He's going to swing. Instead, he takes strike 3, and there's 23 strikeouts for Sanders against John Smoltz. And the 3rd strikeout for Smoltz tonight.
National League hitters this season have been saying, how in the world can you throw that hard and have that type of control? Unhittable, that 0-2 pitch.
Now it's David Bell, and we'll see. You know, the Giants could do a number of things here. They could start the runner. They could bunt with Bell. They're going to pinch hit anyway and hope for a hit out of either Shinjo Martinez or Pedro Feliz, who they have left on their bench. Or do they swing with David Bell with a runner at first and 1 out? Even though they talked, Bell's still looking down at Sonny Jackson.
Well, even though they've talked, I think the reason David is doing that is allowing Sonny to make the move and make the sign to JT Snow at first base.
He is going to bunt. And he pulls back from a nasty breaking.
Yeah, I don't agree with this. I mean, bunting with Sanders is one thing, but a 1-out bunt with a regular player, no way. I mean, David Bell, bunt him over for Ramon Martinez. I mean, when you're talking about percentages are much better hitting and running here, allowing Bell to swing the bat. I mean, you've got a 2-run lead. No, Dusty is trying to tack on, but a 1-out bunt, I don't think the percentages are really with the Giants. It might work out, but percentages.
Rob Nen still getting loose. He'll pitch in the bottom of this 9th against the top of the lineup. Greg Maddux, we showed you, at least standing and thinking about getting loose for the Braves in their bullpen. Now they're going to let Bell swing, and he takes strike 2.
Remember, Greg Maddux had a save, his only save in his career, in the 1998 League Championship Series against the San Diego Padres. Game 5 in San Diego.
Could be the last night in a Braves uniform for Greg Maddux. They'll check their swing. And you look at where these Braves are. John Schuerholz has done an amazing job of refilling the talent, trying to put the pieces together to keep this team competitive year after year. But if the Braves don't win tonight, they will have lost 4 of their last 5 postseason series. They have only the 1 World Championship in '95 to show for this great run. And next year they could take on a very different look without either Maddux or Glavine, or who knows, maybe both.
Smoltz will be there, but will he have anybody to save next year?
Two balls, 2 strikes on David Bell with a runner at first and 1 out. Foul ball, 2 out. And now Ramon Martinez will walk in off the bench and bat for Tim Worrell. And there haven't been 2 bigger relief innings for the Giants lately than Tim Worrell. Probably his 2 most important innings of his big league career.
This game characteristic of what it means to either team. The loser goes home. The winner advances. For the Braves, they have had 8 different 9th place hitters, and the Giants have had 7.
Ramon Martinez, the latest for San Francisco, and he takes a strike.
So the 9-hole tonight has seen 15 different players for both clubs. Most pitchers, the others pinch hitters.
Still holding out hope, and why not with the top of the order coming up. Right now it's just a 2-run game. Smoltz was brought in to keep it that way. So far he's done his job, and the count evens 1-1 on Ramon Martinez. Only 2 position players left now for Dusty Baker, Feliz and Shinjo. Here's a 1-1. 2 balls and a strike. Martinez can reach. He would give an RBI opportunity to Kenny Lofton. Drove in an important run for San Francisco with a sac fly in the 7th. Despite the outstanding job done by Darren Holmes taking over for Remlinger, with the bases loaded, nobody out, only 1 run across the plate. It's outside to make it 3-1. Darren Holmes and John Smoltz. Runner at first, 2 out, 3 balls and a strike. And that'll put 2 on with 2 out. A hit and a walk in the inning. And Bobby Cox is questioning the strike zone of Jerry Lane.
Now that pitch was low.
So now it's Lofton. Drove in 9 runs with the Giants. The time they picked him up at the very end of July from the White Sox for a couple of minor leaguers. A 6-time All-Star. Batting with 2 on and 2 out. To the left side. Going to be tough for Furcal. He used the arm. He gets his man. And Smoltz does his job, keeping it a 2-run game. Now Rob Nen will try to do his and save it. Bottom of the ninth, game 5, 3-1 San Francisco. And one of the best in the business at closing out games will try to save this one for the Giants. And in particular, Russ Ortiz, who could win his second game of this division series. The numbers during the regular season, including 43 saves and an ERA of 2.20. He has his work cut out for him here in the ninth. 3-1 San Francisco. And these are the first 3 to the plate in their career against Rob Nen. For Cal, Franco, and Sheffield. Chipper Jones would bat 4th in this inning, and he has hit Rob Nen in on the corners of the infield, and for Cal takes ball 1. Hitless tonight. One ball, 1 strike.
Rob Nen has blown 8 saves this year for the Giants. He is 0-5 lifetime against the Atlanta Braves.
The 32-year-old brings it on 1-1. Low, 2 balls and a strike. You wonder what must be going through the mind of Barry Bonds, who has been on a team with a 2-run lead in the 9th inning against the Atlanta Braves.
10 years ago, he scored 2-0 in the bottom of the 9th when Doug Drabek took the mound. John Smoltz starting that game, and the 2-run single off Stan Belinda.
Cal takes his strike, and it's a full count.
Oh, man. Braves have to be happy with that. Or the Giants have to be happy with that. Cal tried to duck under the fastball, but didn't.
3-2 pitch. Out of play. Barry Bonds in his career has never been on a team that's won a postseason series. 0 for 5 coming into this battle against the Atlanta Braves. Not only could his team win, but Bonds, with 3 home runs in this series and a big one tonight, scored 2 of the 3 San Francisco runs. 3-2 pitch for Cal. What a pick by Jeff Kent. 1 out, no. Safe at first as the throw pulled snow off the bag. The speed of Cal played a role in that because Kent took care of the hard part, and they're going to give Kent an error on this play.
I don't agree with that, but it's a moot point because the Braves have what they want. Jeff Kent in his haste, and you're right, great play to come up with the ball, and now the speed of Cal causes the bad throw.
So it's an error, and the Braves have their chance. They needed a base runner to have a chance, and they have it. Bronco, Sheffield, Chipper Jones. Saw the play at first base. Bronco comes up empty. Looked awfully close. The foot of J.T. Snow trying to drag it along the bag as he fell off for the wide throw from Jeff Kent. Tying run at the plate for Atlanta. No balls, 2 strikes on Julio Franco.
Santiago sitting outside, and the devastating heavy slider from Nen.
That's what Rob Nen did during the regular season against the Braves. One save, 2 blown saves. Furcal is running on ball 1 to Julio Franco. Let's go back to that play to start the inning and look at Snow. On the bag or off the bag? Looked to me like his foot was still on the bag when he made the catch.
I thought it was off. Very close. Talked about Snow's quick feet. Athletic feet at that.
Stolen base for Furcal, important to take the double play out of order.
Sure.
In a 2-run game as Franco goes after a high delivery. Fouls it straight back. Still 1-2.
One more time. That angle, he looks a little bit off. Of course, with the naked eye, he looks way off, and then the replay made it appear to be a lot closer than I thought it was.
A 1-2 pitch. Franco, the opposite way for a base hit. Furcal is going to be held at third. He held himself as Ned Yost was waving him to the plate, and Furcal stopped.
He may have stopped, not only because his run is no good. Franco's run, Franco will be pinch hit for. He may have missed third base. Robbed in with a fastball inside out by Franco. And Furcal's run is no good anyway. He came awfully close to missing third. No place to go. Proper play is to stop at third. It doesn't matter whether he scores or not. Ultimately, for the Braves to win, he's got to score anyway.
I'll tell you this, Furcal may have made the better decision there than Yost, because Yost was waving him home the entire way.
That's a good point.
And
You're right.
Furcal stopped, whether he missed third base or not. He stopped at third. You cannot run into an out at the plate down by 2 in the 9th with nobody out.
No way.
Now it's Sheffield, who bounced into a game-ending double play in Game 1 against Rob Ned, representing the tying run in Game 1, representing the go-ahead run here in Game 5. What a swing.
Again, Santiago outside, and this slider stayed up in the hitting zone. Sheffield came unglued when he swung at that slider.
Tying runs are on. First and third with nobody out. Sheffield, strike 2. Sheffield's only hit in this series a home run. 0-2. Foul ball.
I was wrong when I said that Bobby Cox would probably pinch run for John Franco. He can't. He only has Steve Torrealba and Wes Helms, Julio Franco at first base. Wes Helms will be the hitter should John Smoltz's place come up this inning. Smoltz inserted in that 6-hole.
Potential winning run at the plate for Atlanta. First and third, nobody out. 0-2 pitch from Nen. 1 out. You can hear Nen grunt as he let that pitch go and blew it past Sheffield.
And you may not be able to hear him grunt, but you know it was there.
And now Chipper Jones.
JT Snow trying to get a sign from Dusty Baker as to where do you want me to play him? Hold him on and stay on the line to prevent the double? Dusty Baker says yes.
First and third with one out. Chipper Jones. Strike one. These two teams played a suspended game this year, and it was Chipper Jones who drove home 2 runs with a hit off Rob Nen to tie the game 3-3. A game that was never finished. To the right side, Snow tags the bag for one. The rundown, second out, double play, and the Giants are going to the NLCS. A smile from Barry Bonds. And the San Francisco Giants have quieted this crowd at Turner Field by turning the double play, ending the threat, and winning the game. Game 5 here in Atlanta.
J.T. Snow, prior to that ground ball, looking at Dusty Baker, asking, where do you want me to play him? Baker said, play him on the bag and guard the line. Benefits for the Braves and to the St. Louis Cardinals. You can unpack your bags because the Giants will be going to St. Louis tomorrow morning.
It was a tag play to finish the double play. Right now, they have not put up that second run on the board. Cal did not get to the plate before the tag was made, and all the Atlanta Braves can do is sit and wonder what's to come of this team for next season, while the San Francisco Giants, with Barry Bonds in the middle of the celebration and now walking away, they will now head to St. Louis for Game 1 of the National League Championship Series on Wednesday night.
What an opportunity for the Braves. First and third, nobody out, and they fail to score.
Rob Nen made it interesting. Aurelia ends up with a tag, the baseball, and now it belongs to Rob Nen as the Giants will move on to the NLCS. Let's go down to Buck Lanford. Buck?
Thanks a lot, guys. Congratulations, Barry Bonds. A lot of accomplishments in your career, but now you won a postseason series. How do you feel right now?
I feel pretty good right now. You know, the Braves have been my nemesis for years, so, you know, this is good for me. I've never been past the first round before, and, you know, it's not over yet. I want to win a World Series. This is just the beginning.
It was a series where the momentum shifted several times. You guys must be tired. Are you feeling fatigue? Are you feeling relief? Are you ready to celebrate?
Oh, we feel relief because Millwood, you know, the first time he pitched against us, he was so perfect. You know, he threw his curveball whenever he wanted to. He had that tight slider on us, and he was always ahead. And, you know, I was just a little bit more aggressive because, you know, during the course of the season, he has trouble with one pitch or the other. And, you know, I was like, I'm not going to let him get us in the hole again, and I'll take advantage of it. And, you know, they came at me. You know, they say they come at me more than anyone else. No, Colorado's the only team that comes at me more than any team in baseball. But I'm glad they motivated me on this one today.
Barry, congratulations and thanks a lot. Let's send it back upstairs to Joe Buck.
Buck Lanford, thanks for visiting with Barry Bonds, and our thanks to Barry for sticking around as the Giants will head in and celebrate, and a smile crawls across the face of Barry Bonds.
Joe, I gave you the wrong information. It was me that said the run didn't score. It did score, and it's a 3-2 game, a moot point, because happiness in the city by the bay.
They put the run on the board. Now they've taken the run off the board. 3-1, 3-2. It's a win for the San Francisco Giants. We'll call it 3-1. That's the way it ends. And the Giants are moving on. St. Louis next on Wednesday night. We'll take a break. Jeannie Zelasco and Kevin Kennedy coming along after the commercial. The final congratulations to Barry Bonds and the San Francisco Giants.
The questions.
A final out from Atlanta.
Final 2 outs, Jeannie.
Final 2 outs.
Mitchell Rudd, I don't believe, scored. I don't think Chris Call crossed home plate. It's a moot point. 3-1 ball game. It's all over. Barry Bonds being very personal and friendly. They went after him, Jeannie, tonight. Millwood did go after him with a good 97 fastball. And Barry Bonds took that thing into the left center field seat. 3 home runs in the series. Scored the first couple of runs. How about Peter McGowan?
Yeah, and for the first time, by the way, in his career, Barry Bonds won a postseason series. The reason for the big smile, and for the record, when the Giants left the Bay Area late Sunday night, they packed for 5 days, planning on making that trip to St. Louis.
Positive.
Good thing, because that is exactly where they're headed, Kevin Kennedy.
A pretty good ball game, as we thought it would be. A lower scoring ball game. Ortiz pitched absolutely outstanding. The bullpen again for the Giants came through. They were number 2 in baseball, only to the Atlanta Braves. Millwood pitched great, but the 2 times he went after Bonds cost him. The base hit, he's ended up scoring the first inning, and a home run to left center field.
So it's on to the NLCS.
Well, this is pretty exciting, right? I mean, anytime you clinch a division series where you weren't supposed to win, this is a wild card team that goes to the NLCS, much like the Angels, a wild card team. The wild card good for baseball. Jim.
And, of course, the Giants staving off elimination on a Sunday night. Dusty Baker telling everybody, I am not cursed. We will get this done.
Well, and they blasted him for bringing in Manny Ibarra, leaving a lot of fans in the Bay Area blasted him, but yet Dusty stuck to his guns. He stuck to his guns with Livan Hernandez. You and I talked about that at the break, how Hernandez comes up big in the postseason. And Dusty went with a 4-man rotation. It paid off for him.
Ironically, it was just 7 days ago that the last thing the Giants wanted to do was get on an airplane, fly all the way across the country to play in Atlanta, that one-game playoff, which was never meant to be. But on a Monday night...
They finished it off, and they deserved it. No question about it.
Rematch now of the 87 NLCS.
Well, it really doesn't matter, but we'll go through this. The St. Louis won the series this season at 4-2. Renteria swinging about extremely well against the Giants. That's something to be considered right here. Jason Schmidt does not pitch well versus the Cardinals. Therefore, I think it might be this guy, Reeder. I'm going to try to spell this right here.
Good for you.
Reeder, 5-0 in St. Louis lifetime. So I think Kurt's going to get that start. He only went 3 innings in his start. Barry Bonds only 2 at-bats for the Cardinals versus the Cardinals this season. I don't know if they'll go after him, but if they do, watch out. He had 3 home runs in this divisionals. How about the Cinderella series right here? The Twins won 5-4 versus the Angels. Again, throw that out the window. It doesn't matter now.
A lot of stuff out tonight, Skip.
Brad Radke, 11-4. Well, we've got some divisionals now some LCSs coming up that nobody picked. I'm telling you, no analyst picked it in baseball, and nobody could have picked this matchup right here, the Angels versus the Twins. And you might have picked one of these teams, but not both, to match up. The Angels, 263 average versus the Twins this season. Their 283 is not only the best in the American League, it's the best in Major League Baseball. Again, throw it out the window. Washburn, that might be of importance to me, 2-0 versus Minnesota, because Washburn is a lefty, and we know the Twins have strong left-handed lineups. So I think that's of concern. Washburn will pitch probably Game 3 of the series. It looks like Kevin Apier will go Game 1 tomorrow night versus Joe Mays.
No concern to us. A big Tuesday night. The Cinderella story, the October magical matchups, they just keep coming. ALCS, game number 1, the Angels at Team Aberration. I mean the Twins. That is tomorrow, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on Fox.
90.
They're still alive. In many ways, more than one. And then Wednesday night, we're hanging tough. A wild Wednesday on Fox Sports. Both series are in action. One on your local Fox affiliate, one on your Fox Sports Net regional affiliate. You need to check out your local listings and get everything squared away here. But once again, congratulations to Barry.
Hey,
Dusty.
he performed when he had to. You got to give him credit. 3 home runs in this series, a big one off of Kevin Millwood. He did the job, and he goes to the NLCS.
And the Giants making their first trip to the championship series since 1989. For Kevin Kennedy, I'm Jeannie Zelasco. The magic continues to unfold.